Hi guys, we're here on the Elation podcast today with a special episode here at MusiCon. We are in the Jazz and Heritage Center in the drum room, which is pretty damn cool, I have to say. But we are here talking with Rob Swartz. How are you?
Wonderful, sir. How are you today?
I'm good. Glad to have you here in New Orleans.
I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely, here in the conference. And how you having? You having fun so far? How do you?
This is my second year at the NOLA MusiCon, and I had a blast last year, and I'm having a blast so far today.
Well, that's awesome.
Melissa, amazing job. So happy.
Yeah, they do a great job.
Awesome.
They do a great job.
I'm here with David.
Absolutely. You hear at 10 o'clock again. I hear you keep talking at 10 o'clock.
I'm on the East Coast.
10 o'clock. Well, it's hard to get up at 10 o'clock when you go out in New Orleans, for sure.
It's a beast.
It'll eat time up.
It's a wonderful beast.
Absolutely. Well, Rob, let's talk a little bit about introduce us and tell us what you do and what you're down here for,
okay.
and we'll go from there.
So what do I do? That's probably a 6-hour answer, but let me sum it up.
There you go. Sum it up.
All right. I have a building in Atlantic City called ACX1 Studios, which is a 4-story, 550,000 square foot mall. We converted to a music incubator, movie production studio, and event space. We have 8 venues in our building. One holds up to 3,000. We have some that hold up to 150, the smaller side. I'm also most known for WhoMag. I had a TV show called WhoMag TV, aired worldwide. Interviewed about 3,000 people between WhoMag TV, DMTV, Video Vision, and our websites. I have a music distribution company. I have about 350 labels signed to me with about 1,000 artists signed to my distribution. I'm the governor of the Grammys for the Philadelphia chapter, also the co-chair for the education department. I'm a sync licensing guy. I'm a music supervisor, part of the Guild of Music Supervisors. I have a big music festival called DistroFest.
Okay.
And DistroFest 4 is coming up. April. I haven't told anyone. I'm telling you guys first.
Awesome.
April. Yeah, I do a lot of stuff, man. I speak around the world: Bulgaria, Barcelona, London, Rome, South Korea, Scotland, Toronto, South by Southwest, Tulsa, and New Orleans. So I do a lot of cool stuff, man. But my main thing is I try to inspire people, do great stuff, and it's just amazing this music industry is a very tough industry, but it's the best in the world. So if you could survive in this, you're a superstar. And I try to help provide that superstar status for people.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, one of the best things you can do to teach or to tell independent artists is to get multiple revenue streams. Mm-hmm. And so it seems like you've kind of adapted that in your life as well. I mean, because I always say you have to find where you fit in the music mold. You can't mold music yourself. You have to find out where it wants you, because it takes you all kinds of different journeys. I mean, you might start off, like for me, I started off as a producer, but when I got to LA, there were so many producers to compete with, I had to find a place that fit in a little better, and I ended up in live sound.
Music producer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's where I got the bug for music. That's why I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, full circle, I get to produce and do things now I like to do. But sometimes you just have to manipulate your own process.
Get in where you fit in.
And get in where you fit in, right. Well, let's talk about some of the things you did while you've been here. You talked in a couple panels. What did you talk about this trip?
So I spoke on 2 panels. The first one was on festivals because of DistroFest.
Right.
It was an amazing panel with some incredible people especially one of those Jazz Fest, which is legend.
Right.
New Orleans
Absolutely.
is Jazz Fest. So
Absolutely.
It was amazing with EJ and everybody else. The second panel I spoke on was on radio. So one thing I didn't mention, I have one radio station right now called Splash 98.5 FM. We're not officially a FM yet. We are media-based though, so everything we play goes to the charts. And no one knows us yet, but that's fine, because the time we put this out there, it will be known. I'm launching my second station when I get back home.
Awesome.
In a couple of days. It's the first one's Progressive Top 40. My second station is hip hop and R&B. So I'm excited about that. That's going to be excited. I'm excited because we have an investor. We have the FM antenna coming already planned. Everything's great. I got amazing people like Dan Matthews as a partner, who has 7 other stations, FM stations, as the program director. I'm the music director, and my friend Terrence. So it's going to be amazing. So what have I done so far? I spoke on those 2 panels, but I think the best part about it is like watching and meeting so many incredible people. Like Melissa does a great job. This is the second year again working with Melissa, and she just brings amazing people together. And I love being in the mix of amazing people.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, and there's a lot of people outside of New Orleans that come here
Yes.
to. What do you think they come here for? Do you think you come here for a little bit of the vibe, a bit of the information, the people? Like what is the overall look from outside of New Orleans, or how you see New Orleans?
So why do me personally would come to something like New Orleans, besides, of course, Melissa? It's a beautiful city. And the thing about New Orleans is this is my 4th time here. Second time with NOLA MusiCon. I spoke on 2 hip-hop events before.
Gotcha.
Before this, and coming here and just, like, the talent is insane out here. And it's like, there's certain, like, the United States is amazing, but there's so many little pockets of places that are just crazy.
Right.
And one is New Orleans.
Right.
So the first time I came here, I'm like, all right, cool, I'll go to wherever it is. I went like 3-4 years ago. I'm like, oh my God, the talent's insane.
It's insane.
So I spoke twice for this other hip hop event, and then when Melissa asked me to come here, I came here last year, and I got to see it in a broader scale, because that first 2 were hip hop.
Right.
This was more everything. And I'm just like, wow. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, you know, there's certain places like Austin's amazing, right? Nashville's amazing. There's I'm from New Jersey. There's
Right.
spots in New Jersey with little pockets there, just not even like Willingboro, New Jersey. No one ever heard of Willingboro, New Jersey. But some of the best talent from Adam Blackstone, who does all the stuff for the Super Bowl. Like,
Right.
people like that in a little town in Jersey, Willingboro. There's like little pockets of places. And New Orleans is a spot where it's just so much talent. And the hard part about that is that when you have so much in a little spot, I mean, New Orleans blew up music-wise, and it continues to, but I think it needs to be recognized more. So
I agree with you on that, and I keep pushing for that as well. And I feel like we have tons and tons of, to give you a restaurant reference, tons of cooks. We need more chefs.
Yeah.
We need people that are curating these talent and people that can actually put some movement in their careers, because there's a lot of artists turning albums out and pushing music out and performing live and doing everything that you need to do, but it's turning that next level, which is tough to do out of this city. We don't have record labels like on the big streets. We don't have publishing companies. We don't have big advertisers here all in music. We don't have some of our radio stations that we have local are more not necessarily in the new music lane to put music out on.
So let me tell you my thoughts on that, because I live outside of Philadelphia. I'm 10 minutes. I'm in Jersey, but I'm 10 minutes from Philadelphia, so they consider me Philadelphia. My building's Atlantic City.
Right.
So where I live, eat, sleep, everything's Atlantic City. Now Atlantic City is a destination. What it means is that people come in and they go home.
Right.
You don't see them again. The surrounding area of AC is like Margate, Brigantine. It's vacation homes. So it's very hard for us to target a loyal fan base. So let's just say New Orleans, because say you have a jazz night on a Tuesday night, right? You can build that up every Tuesday's jazz. And you may see 4, then you may see 10, you may see 15, you may see 30. And we don't have that in Atlantic City, because every week's different people. So what's great about this city is you have that thing, and it's like even like Nashville, but this is the good and the bad. So now, while you have that, the bad is like when I went to Nashville, I was like, because I was one of my friends I was mentoring, he managed an artist in Nashville, and I talked to him. And his big thing is he's always got gigs. Every day he's performing in Nashville, but he's doing covers. Right. How do you break that mold to get out of the covers? And I see that here too.
Absolutely.
Where I'm at, Atlantic City, like, they can't get jobs, period. Right. So, wow, it's amazing that you could be a musician and have a job out here. How do you break the mold to one original? Right. It's hard. Absolutely. Where we are in Jersey, they can't get jobs at all.
The gig effect is huge on artists, because you have to pay the bills. And if gigging is pay the bills, find a way you fit in.
Honestly, I love the fact that you can still be, like, even if back to that scenario, like, you walk down Nashville, the main street, it's just like bar after bar after bar after musician. Here too, you go out here on Bourbon Street and you see a lot of live bands.
But you could also, in Nashville, you could also walk into big record labels. Yes. You can walk into ASCAP. You can walk in. You walk
NLC.
in
NLC's in Nashville.
well, having that stuff around you molds you into understanding the business better because everybody in the street understands it better.
Yes.
You know, not having that structure here, I feels like where everybody hits a plateau, and then it kind of just stays there. You know, and unless you or find a way to get some of that attention outside the city.
Totally.
So if we could get somebody curating here that can bring some of that national attention to some of these beautiful, talented artists that we have, I feel like it'd be really.
And the thing,
really
I don't
good for the
think
city.
it's as difficult as people think.
No, it's not.
Because as a musician, listen, if you're doing music and you're paying your bills, God bless you. That's
Right.
amazing.
Right. You're doing better than most.
I have 1,000 artists signed to my distribution. 1,000 people. I talk to them all the time. I firms all day with music distribution artists, and I have a lot of big legacy artists, like big names signed to me, that were big in the 80s and 90s, and now they're trying to figure out how to make money now. It's tough.
Right.
It's a whole different
Absolutely.
system.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, like places like New Orleans and Nashville and these places where they have this, it's great. The artists can make a career doing what they love to do.
Absolutely.
Because the other alternative is take a day job.
Absolutely.
And you're going to hate that.
Well, one of the ways they can do it is festivals.
Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about your festival.
DistroFest.
Yes, DistroFest.
Yes.
Love it. Tell me about it.
So DistroFest, it's called DistroFest because I made it for my distribution artists. That's the name. So what happened was DistroFest, a lot of my artists, again, back to 1,000 artists, a lot of them say, hey, Rob, how do I go on Rolling Loud? How do I go on Loudpalooza? And I was like getting tired of saying, dude, you can't. You don't have to follow in a budget. It's not easy, dude.
Right.
And like, I love my artists. I support them all the time. So I said, you know what? Let me stop this right now. Let me do my own festival for my artists.
Right.
I'll make it the coolest festival you ever been to. Let my artists brag and say, yo, I perform at DistroFest. So DistroFest 1, we had people like CNC Music Factory, Suicidal Tendencies, Raz B from B2K, Shahid the Rugged Child from Wu-Tang, and all these other incredible artists. We had Haj G, Fam of the Beat from UMCs. We had so many amazing artists perform, and most were independent, from jazz, hip hop, soul, Latin, rock, pop, everything, country. Performance one-day festival. It was just made to give my artists a chance to like flex, like and we had this big, huge outside spot. It was amazing. So it was a lot of behind. I'm writing a book now, and in my book I break down the drama because I do dope stuff. That's what it's called. And you're the first person I told.
Hey, I like that.
I'm working a book. I do dope stuff. It's basically a story about getting inside the mental of someone in the industry. It's not a bio. It's not a self-help. It's not an industry book, but it's a combination of them all. And basically, I'm breaking down the strategy of like, this is how you gotta think.
Right.
So I had so many issues with DistroFest 1 that no one knew about.
Right.
And really, my location got canceled on me 10 days before the event.
Wow.
So I had to move it, and everyone kept canceling on me because there's a whole, it's in the book.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I did DistroFest 1, right? And it was amazing, bro. It was amazing. And I put everything into this. And when it was done, I haven't slept in like a week and a half at that point. Literally, I haven't slept at all. Because I was like, oh my God, this. And when it was done, all my artists like, Rob, that's the best thing we ever performed at. When's the next one? So I'm like, dude, like, I'm dead. So it had me pondering, like, yo, what am I missing?
Right.
So my boy Brian Cronin, who one of my great friends of mine, I met him, we did stuff. He was working at Millennium Music Conference in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which was canceled. So it was the 25th year and they canceled. It was COVID going on. And he's like, I want to do another conference. I'm like, dude, I think that's what I'm missing from DistroFest. It's like, instead of artists come to what's next, let me bring in my speakers. I know so many people. Let me bring them in to talk to these people and teach them what to do next. So don't have to come to me, right? So we did play music conference, and it was insane. It was the first music conference in Philadelphia in 20 years. And it was insane.
Damn.
It was like
that's insane to me because Philly's got some great talent.
20 years, dude.
That's nuts.
The first music conference in 20 years.
That's nuts.
And it was insane. So then, as I was doing it, I was closing out my deal. I kept it quiet, but I was closing out my deal with Atlantic City. And when I was there, I literally closed the deal while I'm doing play. So then it was time we're talking about doing next year's play. I'm like, dude, I want to do it, but I gotta do it in Atlantic City.
Right.
Because that's my building, that's my job. I'm the co-founder, the chief music officer, marketing with CMO, but
Right.
we made it chief music.
Gotcha.
And now I'm the president of the company.
Gotcha.
My job is bringing stuff to AC. So let's do it again, but we have to do it in Atlantic City. And my other partners didn't like it too much. So, okay. So now DistroFest 2 is coming up. So what I did was I brought the panels to DistroFest 2, and it was insane. So I got this massive, massive building that's over the ocean.
Right.
It's a pier. It's massive.
That's
and it
awesome.
And again, people come to get away. It's not like, you come to places cool. Like New Orleans is also like that. It's while you have your locals, it's also a great destination for out-of-towners to come because
absolutely.
it's New Orleans. Come on,
Absolutely.
man. Come on, man.
Absolutely.
So we did DistroFest 2, and it was insane. Then we did DistroFest 3, and it's always been in November. I pushed it back. DistroFest 4 is going to be April.
Gotcha.
And I did it because in Jersey, we have 10 weeks to make money. And what it means is like the Jersey Shore is Memorial Day weekend to Labor Day weekend. That's packed.
Right.
After that, we have our Halloweens. Like now we have New Year's or holidays, but it slows down.
Right.
So I always like after the 10 weeks, I have now 2 months to put a festival together, which I always did.
Right.
But it burns me out.
Oh yeah, no, it's tough.
So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it in April and just do it right.
Spread it out, right.
Yeah. So DistroFest, what it is a labor of love. I did something, DistroFest 3, we had 60 speakers, 50 performers. It was a 4-day event on a weekend.
Awesome.
And it was insane. Everyone's talking about it. I was like, people flying. I had artists come in from Sweden, Finland, Iceland, France, Toronto, all over the U.S. to perform.
So
even Diesel, that's here now, came out there with his band to perform.
Awesome. So you were a global market in one building.
Bro, we just do dope stuff.
That's awesome. I do dope stuff.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, could you give New Orleans any advice for their music market?
Yeah.
And something that you could see from an outside perspective of what would help us?
Again, you want the 5-minute version or the 6-hour version?
I think we need the 5-minute version,
5 minute,
unfortunately.
But back to what I'm saying, the thing about what makes New Orleans unique is the fact that there's so many opportunities out here, but it does pigeonhole you in a lane, which is great why Melissa does something like NOLA MusiCon, because it gives people coming from all over to be here to help give this advice. One of the things is, like I said before, it's like, it's not getting gigs as much where I'm at. Atlantic City is like, how do you get jobs? I hear there are jobs.
Right.
But how do you break the mold to do your originals? So my advice, one thing I learned, man, because listen, I've been through a lot of struggles. I've been burnt left and right more than you can even imagine. That's why, like, if you burn me right now and do something, if I see you tomorrow, I'll still buy you a shot at the bar. Because I don't care no more. I'm numb to it.
Right.
But I learned how to double down on myself. I learned how to trust myself. Because before I would have money, I invest in other people's ideas, or I used to manage a lot of artists and do a lot of stuff for other people, and I realized I can't control what they do. I know what I can do.
Right.
And I know that if I put money up and my own soul into something, I will never burn myself. So I started learning how to trust myself more and researching more. I taught myself everything for doing my own websites, my own flyers. I taught myself how to edit videos, and next thing I have the biggest hip-hop TV show in the world.
Right.
Teaching myself, I didn't go to school for this, but I had the dedication and the drive to do it, and I learned how to find these platforms, even my music distribution. Like, I learned the whole distribution game on my own.
Right.
I went to Rider University, right, in New Jersey. The crazy part was, I went for a marketing, advertising double major. There was no music classes. Now it's actually a music school.
Gotcha.
They bought Westminster College, and now it's a big music school. And now I go speak at Rider all the time.
That's awesome.
So it's crazy going back to my school and be like, damn, I wish they had this.
Right.
Because I learned everything on my own.
Right.
So my advice, just be dope, like be proactive, because if you're an artist, there's 120,000 releases a day.
Right.
Right? So like, that means there's 240,000 tomorrow. How do you stand out? Like, you have to think about this stuff. You can say, oh, put a record out, let's see what happens. Dude, it don't work.
Right.
And 3 streams equal a penny. Like, you can't do it for the money. You got to do it because you love it, and you got to find your own creative, unique ways to make this happen.
Build the brand.
That's it.
Build the brand and use it as leverage later.
And be unique and be dope, and just be like, and if this is what you want to do. I worked in finance. I worked on Wall Street. I quit my Wall Street job at Merrill Lynch because I was making more money off my hip hop TV show.
Right. That's crazy.
And never looked back.
That's crazy.
And it was the best decision ever made in my entire life. Because back then, I'm like, all right, great.
Got rid of the suit and tie, huh?
Like, we get excited. Like, oh, my God, a 3-day weekend's coming up. I can't wait. In 3 weeks from now, I get an extra day off of work. Yeah, I'm in New Orleans. Like, I'm here for a week. Like, I'm here, but I'm working. I just got back from Scotland. I spoke at a panel in Scotland a month ago. And in between, I spoke at Temple University. I spoke at Mondo in New York City, which is one of the dopest conferences in New York City. So I'm speaking in between, but this stuff, which is work, but I love it when you work.
It's not work
meeting
when you
people
love
like
what
you,
do.
David, meeting people like you guys, it's great because you get to meet energy, people there. And the good thing, too, is being part of the Grammys, the governor of the Grammys. Like, I get a chance to really, I mentor a lot of people. You know, there's a mentorship program with the Grammy U. I do usually 2 per semester, and I do what I can, man, because I had never had any mentorship at all.
They do a great job. I was a part of Grammy camp for you know, out in USC for a while.
I wish they had that when I was younger.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, dude. Like, it was really awesome to see. I keep pushing for New Orleans to have its own chapter. I don't know why. We're in the Memphis chapter.
Yeah. So there's 12 chapters.
Right.
So the advantage we have in Philly, we're one of the smallest chapters, but we're less than 2 hours from New York.
Right.
We're less than 2 hours from the DC chapter.
Right.
So we have 1/4 of all the chapters are here.
Right.
Now, we're small.
Right.
We're small. We grew out to Pittsburgh. Even Jersey, we're half of New Jersey. The other half is New York. And we're like part of Delaware because the rest is DC. But
we got to work on that 13th, that lucky number 13.
We are known as the party chapter.
That's awesome.
And I'm going to tell you why real quick, too, is because I had the Grammy holiday party in my building last year. And what it was is like, so we do these things, usually it's in Philly, because we're Philly, and people don't want to drive an hour to Atlantic City. They want to stay in Philly. We always did in Philly. But the problem is with Philly is like, cool, we get the spot, you're there for 2 hours, you still got to pay for drinks, and there's some I remember the last place we had, the food was just bad.
Right.
And after 2 hours, they kick you out, and you got to find your own after party.
Right.
I'm like, dude, this is my building. Like, we started at 5 p.m. Guess what time we ended? 5 a.m.
Right.
Because we had the 2 hours. And then we, all right, so this officiants, but let's just walk out that front door, and here's my other venue. I have 8 venues in my building.
Right.
We partied all night. So we're known as a party.
That's awesome.
The party Grammys.
That's
so we have a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Well, listen, it was good having you here today. I wanted to ask you some fun New Orleans questions just as we kind of end out here.
Let's do it.
Favorite music venue in New Orleans? Have you seen any spots here?
Mine. Oh, and out here.
Out here, yeah, out here, New Orleans.
Venue. I've been to a bunch of the smaller spots, and wherever I listen, man, it's the vibe. I'm a vibey person.
It's a vibe. Okay.
I can tell you a little story happened. Istanbul.
Okay.
And I may not get a lot of love for this thing I'm going to say, but we went there for the first day, and the owner is apparently the chess guy. He has a chessboard, and he beats everybody. Everyone comes to everybody. I talk a lot of junk when I haven't played chess in years. And my dad used to beat me when I was in like grade school. I stopped.
Yep.
So anyway, in college, I just somehow started playing because people were playing that way. Anyway, so the owner was beating everybody for weeks, beating everybody. I was like, I'll beat you. He's like, no, you won't. And I dethroned him as I'm drinking, hanging out. And
well, there you go. There you go.
I'm like, come on, man, I got you. And he was cool about it. Everyone was watching, like, you that guy beat you. But nothing to do with venues. But listen, as long as it's great music, I'm good anywhere.
There you go. All right. Yeah. Well, good. Well, you're beating local chess players. We like it.
We
like it. Do you have a favorite band from New Orleans?
Favorite band from New Orleans? That's a great question. I've seen so much town out here. I could say discovered, but not from here. Diesel, who speaks here, has a band, Bella ULB, and I met them. They actually performed at Distro Fest last year.
Okay.
I discovered them here, but they were not from here. As far as from here, I had a great time with Juvenile last night. Juvenile had that private party, and I was from. I'm at when that back that thing up and Ha came out. I was working in New York City on Wall Street.
Okay.
And the thing is, like, the New York, Philly scene, we don't listen to down south music at all.
Right.
It's like we have our own. We have so many artists. This is
Right,
our thing.
right.
When that record came out, I can tell you, they played it every 20 minutes. And I've never heard a record outside of New York or Philly
Played that much. That's awesome.
And it just, and to me, it was a game-changing song.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and he's a superstar. So it's not like
he's
saying I
awesome.
discovered anybody.
Yep.
But that was a moment in our New York. And this was at what was the club called? I forget what it was. One of the biggest clubs in New York. It's like you just go. It's like everywhere you go, it's just amazing, man. So
that's awesome.
And then from there, I think that's really what caught people's eyes in New York.
Absolutely.
To Memphis.
Absolutely.
And
brought a whole wave.
And so DC has this thing called go-go music, right? When DC is like 2 hours from us, when you go down here, it's a different sound. And Miami's got a whole different sound too. But when you discover what happens here with the drums and the sounds, it's so unique, man.
Oh, yeah.
Walking up down Bourbon Street and just like here, it's just so unique.
Oh, 100%.
I love it, man.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, New Orleans loves you, man. We appreciate the love and appreciate you coming down and appreciate you doing what you do in your building. And I can't wait for have you next year. We'll do something next year. We'll do a panel next year together, maybe.
What are we gonna do? What's the panel gonna be called? Tell me, Dave. What's the panel?
Ooh.
We do dope stuff.
17 hats.
plus 18.
Plus 18.
Plus this one.
Plus 18.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, great, man. Well, nice meeting you.
You too.
Absolutely. And thank you guys for joining us on the Elation podcast. And do you want to give your socials and tell everybody where they can find out?
Yeah. Everything is Humag. WHOMAG. Humag. I'm known for the TV show, the distribution, everything's just Humag. The brand new radio station, which no one knows about, you're hearing for the first time ever, is 105.1 The Beat at the Beach, Atlantic City. And also ACX1 Studios. So ACX1 Studios is the building, so we do a lot of cool stuff. So between them, you can find me. I'm Rob Schwartz. I'm easy to find. I'm around. I respond. Just be nice to me. I'm nice to you. We good. We make things happen.
Nice.
Right.
Good. Appreciate it, man. Philly love. Philly love. Go Eagles.
Yes.
Because I can't go Saints right now, so go Eagles.
City of brotherly love and sisterly affection.
There you go.
Yes.
All right. Well, great. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. See you next time.
Yes.
Hey guys, we're here live on the Elation podcast today at the NOLA MusiCon. We are doing a special episode here. We are at the Jazz and Heritage Center in the drum room, which is pretty crazy to me. I love this room. But we are here today to talk to Robin Kendrick. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
Good. It's good to see you.
Yes, likewise.
Yes,
It's been a long time.
it's good to see. It has absolutely been too long.
Yep.
It has been too long. And I know you come and into the scene here a lot in New Orleans. You're from down this way. Your family's here. But what do you enjoy about NOLA MusiCon?
Oh man. First of all, I love Melissa and Kurt who put it together. I think that just kind of pulled me in from the beginning. I'm already a music girly. I've been doing music over 20 years, but they just make you feel so welcome. Just so open to, what can we talk about? What
Right.
can we, I feel like just from the inception of it, it's very welcoming. It's not like this festival and it's over everybody's head.
Yeah.
And then to
It's
know
very New Orleans
it's
in that
very
sense.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
that I would say for me that would be it. Just the creators of it, and then once you get here, you get the information that you can't Google.
Right.
So that's what I like
Absolutely.
about it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, let's tell the people a little bit about yourself and what you do and what you've done in the industry and we'll go from there.
Okay, I'll fast track.
Yeah,
I've
it's a
been in
long
there for
list.
a while. Yeah,
It's a
I've been
long
in there for a
list.
while. I started off as a songwriter. Currently, I have a company called Track That Sync, and I do sync licensing, and that's been going pretty good. I things on Netflix. I have some things coming up, so there's that. And I started out actually with the songwriting. I worked with Gary Brown. He is a famous jazz musician from New Orleans. He worked at Bourbon in Toulouse for years. I kind of managed him for a while. We did a New Orleans festival in Europe. I did all kinds of things. So now I would say my passion is more of just being the inspiration specialist. I kind of evolved into that. Music was always my baseline, but writing is my baseline. So when I say to people I'm a music girl, it's not just that I write songs, but I write where it can inspire other people. I write so that even if you are in the industry and you need help or you need guidance, I might, if I have to write you something to inspire you, if I have to set up a situation where we come in and we talk and I help you kind of navigate your career, that's kind of like, where I landed.
Life coach.
Yeah. But yeah. I would say that. Yeah. Yeah. I would say that. Yeah.
With your Yankee hat, I'm gonna call you coach.
I
Huh?
And sorry, I left my NO hat. It's a beautiful black hat like this, but it's a gold plate and it has New Orleans across the top. And I forgot it. I ran out to catch my flight. But this is the only one I had, so. But
It's so good. The Yankees are better than the Saints right now, anyway. So we'll be okay.
That's true.
We'll let this year go by.
Yeah. We'll take an excuse for them this year.
What would you say your most fun record that you've been a part of that's out right now?
I would say we recorded it at Elation, as
Okay.
a matter of fact.
All right.
No Cares.
Okay.
It's with Hassan. That's Hassizzle.
Yeah.
And V Script, and it was several other writers from the city. I think who else was on that? I think Tony was on that, and
Was Kango on that one?
oh, and that's another one.
Yeah.
We did another one with Kango Slim. That we didn't drop it yet.
Okay.
So you have a bit of the tea because we did a
okay.
bunch of
All
stuff
right.
that we
Yeah.
didn't drop yet.
Got you.
But
Yeah.
all of the Afro Bounce was extremely fun records.
Right.
And we did all of that at Elation. So, but the one that dropped was No Cares, and the reason why that one was so fun was because within a few months they called and asked us. Missy heard it, Missy Elliott, and so she asked if we could perform it. Well, I'm not performing it, but they could perform it at Essence.
Right. Okay.
So that's my funnest record that's out right now.
Awesome.
I would say
Awesome. Great. Love the Elation plug. That was great.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna plug.
You know
it.
Marketing is in your mind.
Yeah. All the time.
So as far as this music conference, what do you think one of the better panels that you've been a part of so far for this year?
Well, I really enjoyed. It's not a shameless plug, I promise. But I really enjoyed the panel that I was on. That sounds so. It's not a selfish thing, y'all. It's not a self-centered thing. Please just hear me out. It was more about my colleagues on the panel than me, because I was moderating for the most part. But I enjoyed that we were able to bring to New Orleans a different vantage point about sync licensing. They do not know that this is a thing.
Right.
And then we had Dawn Richard there, her and her father, Mr. Frank, and they were asking great questions as well. And it was just about like video games and ads and commercials, TV, music, film, all of these things. And then just bringing the knowledge here and
Right.
just explaining to them like, you know, what it's like. That was really exciting. I really loved that. And there was actually another smaller panel that I really enjoyed, and it was about radio. And I know that people may think radio is a bit archaic or is like kind of going out of style, but I do think that it's just kind of, if you're a purist when it comes to music and you're like old school and you just get music like we do, whether we make it still or
Right.
we see others, when you're a purist, you just kind of want to get back to the fan or the DJ, right?
Right.
Or who do you connect with for it to remain organic?
Absolutely.
Even when it's not all of these streams, sometimes it's the person that they don't even have a computer, they don't even have a cell phone,
Right,
but they rolled up on you as such and such, or they're in their car and they hear it on the radio.
Right. Well,
I thought that was refreshing.
I feel like it's balanced itself out a little bit. Like I
Yeah.
feel like, you know, radio dropped from, you know, from where it was at to the floor, and as far as listeners go, but as time has gone by and XM radio has become very similar to regular radio with the commercials
Yep.
and how it acts, and then you're paying for it on top of that. That all the subscription-based stuff has kind of gotten people a little salty. I feel like it's kind of balanced itself from where they're kind of even now. Like
Yeah.
that, the internet radio and streaming, you know, satellite radio and regular radio, all about the same in listening.
Yeah, I think so. And I also believe that because people are waking up about streaming,
Right.
and just kind of getting the bigger picture about that, I think that they are kind of pulling back from that. Like you said, it was just more top heavy when people just
Yeah.
started pushing
Well, and
radio down. Now it is more balanced.
And I do feel like people don't think about Sirius radio because, you know, a lot of labels use Sirius radio as their testing grounds. Because you can get a national campaign with Sirius for 25 grand.
Really?
Yeah. And because think about it, it's all satellite. There's no like real locations. It's everything is satellite. So,
Yeah.
you know, once it fits in a genre, they'll spread it across 5-6 different stations and play it for a month.
Yeah.
For 25 grand.
So see, this is viable information that I would give to, you know, an artist.
Now, don't hold me to that number because, you know,
Well,
numbers
I
go
mean,
up.
no, it can, but I
But
think it's more about it being more specific
Right.
to a genre more
Right.
than a cost of it.
Right.
Because you're trying to get to your people.
Right, 100%.
Right. So, I mean, I know people, they may pay $10K more or whatever
Right.
because they know it'll hit the bullseye.
Right, 100%.
Yeah, but again, NOLA MusiCon. We're
Right.
here. I would not have known that if I wasn't here.
Right, absolutely.
Another reason why I like it.
There you go.
You know?
There you go. Well, that's awesome. Well, you know, I know you know this scene very well down here. What do you think New Orleans is missing as far as the music industry?
This comes up a lot. So I wouldn't say infrastructure necessarily. I wouldn't say that because I do think that we are gradually building that. Maybe some other cities might need that a bit more. I think, you know, like Reed, if you know, you guys don't know who Reed is, look up Reed Wick from Grammys. Reed has done a phenomenal job of bringing us together collectively,
Right.
all genres, all, you know, shape, sizes. He just gets everybody together.
Absolutely.
It's like a big hug, a big kumbaya, you know. So I think we have that in the bag, but how can I say it? You know, we're from here, right? And it's something about the 504. Matter of fact, we were talking about this with the verses. And I just told somebody this last night. They were saying like, okay, there's cash money. And this is to answer your question. There's cash money and there's no limit. And to me, I'm like, okay, it just depends on how I feel.
Right.
One thing we will have, no matter the label, is confidence. Through the roof.
Right.
It could just be the most ostentatious, ridiculous, don't make no sense.
Right.
But we're going to make you like it and you're going to dance to it.
Right.
If I want to win a championship game at the Super Bowl, I'm turning on P.
Right.
You can't stop. Right? But if I want to be the cockiest person in the room, same level of confidence, right? But I just want to be nice and colorful with him, throwing on some Manny, some Juvie. I'm talking, you know, but you understand that at its core and foundation is that ego, is that confidence.
Right.
I think that one of the biggest things that we need, because those are our examples and they're out there, but I mean for those of us who are still here and they're still trying to make it, I think it's tempering that confidence and having it, not crushing it,
Right.
not killing it, but being more open-minded. Understanding that we do not know everything.
Right.
I'm not saying you're not cold, baby. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But do you know what your pro is? Do you know what a performing rights organization is?
Right.
Do you know what sound exchange is? Do you know what MLC is?
Right.
And then just kind of adding more the music education part to it and just being more open-minded. I think if we can maybe fill in that gap more, I think that we could see a real nice, and I want to say resurgence, because for years we have been known for having epic talent.
Absolutely.
But I would say a resurgence of more of the newer talent, some of the unsung voices and heroes in music here that you just may see at a bar on Toulouse or something, right?
Right.
But yeah, I just think, not so much infrastructure. I think Reed and the Grammy team, I know we're typically based out of Memphis, but we do a lot here too.
Right.
I think that's great. But it's just being open and just having more music education so that they can go further, faster, versus just getting caught up in the ego and you can't tell me that.
Well, I guess I acted like that until I got to LA.
Humble you quick, huh?
Real quick. You do what you did, and I even though I'm from here, I was living in West Palm at the time, so I built my little studio in West Palm and had did some stuff there, and we were on the radio in West Palm, whatever that meant,
Right.
and and did some stuff, and then decided a bunch of people that I knew were all moving to LA, and there was a big writing team that was moving out there, getting signed to BMG, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna move out to LA, and you get there, about 2 weeks later, you're just sitting there like, I know nothing.
The adrenaline just.
I know nothing, and but then that drive comes in. All right, well, it's time for me to learn, and pick yourself up, and that's where the confidence comes in. And
There you go.
and
That's it.
Don't walk in the room like you don't know nothing, but soak everything up like you do.
Yeah, it's that nice balance of confidence and humility.
Yeah.
That is, to me, and that seems like an intangible thing, so to speak.
Right.
But it is a mindset thing.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I try to articulate that as best as possible, especially when I do find someone who's talented.
Right.
Because what tends to happen a lot too is you're so cocky, your show is trash.
Right.
You are talented, but I can see that you're talented, but
Right.
not everybody else thinking I'm just having people up here that don't know what they're doing.
Right.
Because you're not humble. Like
Right.
you gotta just balance it out, baby. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like you gotta tweak some of this.
Well, also it
You
takes
know?
a team.
Yeah.
Takes
Now
a
that's
team.
that's a fact.
You know,
That's a fact.
It takes a
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. What? Got to go back to my cards here. Because I've asked you a lot of the questions that I like to ask. So, well, what's your favorite music venue here?
Oh, my favorite music venue here. You know what? I actually like Republic, to be honest with you.
Oh, Republic's great.
I like Republic.
Yeah.
I think Republic is a vibe. I was kind of, last year for NOLA MusiCon, we had performances there. That's actually my preference, and it's probably because, first of all, I love the location.
Right.
I used to live like I could walk out my door and just walk there, so
Right.
I was a little spoiled. So I could go there a lot more often.
Right.
But I like the stage setup. I just like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like it. I like that the acts that I've seen there. I think the sound is good there. And it's jazzy too. It's a little, it's a little swanky, swaggy kind of, but it still has like that, like that gritty, bar but venue, feel to it.
Absolutely.
So I like it. It just has all of the elements for me.
Absolutely.
Yes, I would say.
The grit is a huge part of the venue for me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
you have to have that in there on some level.
Yeah, 100%. Especially down here. You walk into some of those clubs. I mean, they've been there forever. You walk into some of the stuff on Frenchman, and you're like, I know I'm going to hear some good music in here. Yeah, I can just look
the
around.
floor splitting open, the walls falling down.
The piano's cracked.
Yep.
Like, oh, that's gonna sound amazing.
Yeah.
And somehow it does. Maybe it's what they put in the drinks. But I feel like it's got to have a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And I know you're going to be partial on this question, but we're going to ask it anyway.
I'm gonna try not to be.
What's your favorite local artist?
Ooh. Oh, favorite local artist. Ooh. Favorite local artist. Mia X.
Ooh, good
Mia.
one. Love Mia.
I would say Mia, Mama Mia, baby.
Oh, man.
And, then, and listen, I was talking about her last night. Let's go there for a second.
Okay.
I think that, first of all, she was the MVP of Versus to me.
Oh,
And then
100%.
Her and Juvie. You know, if we had to go pound for pound, I'd say her and Juvie.
100%.
But I think just overall, and I'm sure they would all agree, Mia killed it.
Yeah.
But what I think, because I'm a NOLA girl, I grew up with Mia, and well, not personally, but just grew up listening to her music is what I meant. Knowing her backstory and even the things she's gone through recently, and just seeing how she showed up in the world, like it was 1995 with her fatigues on.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
No, she's
And
amazing.
her brand. She's an author.
Yeah.
She's a chef. She has her own spices. It is like the ultimate NOLA girl.
Yep.
And then she can out rap everybody.
Everybody. No, and being, I was on stage with them, and
Yeah.
and I heard soon as she started rapping, the whole crowd went nuts.
Nuts.
And I would say probably more for her than anybody else. Other than maybe Back That Ass Up or a couple other songs. About It was good with P. Like there were a couple moments, but every time Mia hit the stage, it was nuts. Everybody loves Mia. She's great.
Yeah,
I mean,
she is my favorite, and again a close second would be Juvie.
Yeah.
So it's the same lineup, but
and two great people too. So
Yeah.
great answers.
Yeah.
Great answers. Well, being a real New Orleanian, what's your favorite thing to do here so that these people know what to do when they come down?
I actually wrote a book about that.
Oh,
Yeah, let me show you.
good.
Look. So this is my NOLA coffee table book. It's a hardback, and I literally talk about excursions, favorite foods, quotes about New Orleans. There's even some places where you could put like photos in here. It's a really unique, cool book, and I talk about different things you can do. But I will say this: one of the things that I really love is city watching. So this is what I mean by that. So one of my favorite places is City Park, and there's like an art garden. I don't know if you guys are familiar. I'm sure you're familiar with the art garden, right? I absolutely love it because when you go there, you kind of don't even realize you are in New Orleans.
Right.
I would definitely always advise people to maybe take a peek in that. And again, sometimes with me, I don't really pick the obvious things because this is the thing. Tell me if you ever experienced this. People always, I want to go to Bourbon Street and French Quarter. I was like, baby, we don't go there.
No,
If we live it, we don't. That's not where we're going, baby.
No.
We're going to tell you to go somewhere else.
Right, 100%.
Right? Yeah, so it's like I won't give that typical answer, but the art garden at City Park is probably my favorite place to go. And then if you expand and you still just kind of walk around City Park, I like that you can get beignets, you can get food. It's kind of like something people don't really mention, and you can get the whole New Orleans experience.
Right, 100%.
And then the museum is phenomenal.
100%.
I have gone to like an Egyptian exhibit, something about like just that we just get all kind of things that come in. You know what I'm saying? Another thing I would probably say too is things like this conference is really cool. Jazz Fest is cool.
Right.
Again, I would just probably say if you are listening and you want to come to New Orleans for a spot where you can say I have great pictures, great memory, City Park, but if you can plan out your trip, come during festival season.
Right.
Find some festivals.
Right.
Yeah.
Any of them are good.
Any of them.
Yep.
It could be fried chicken, gumbo, tomato. It don't matter.
Right,
I will go to any one of them. Strawberry Fest. I mean, we got a fest. Undo It Fest.
Yeah.
You got a fest for everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, festival season's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And the food's always amazing, just like always.
All the time.
So definitely come for festival season for
Yeah.
sure. What's your favorite music memory here?
Ooh, that's good. These are good questions. Favorite music memory here. It's actually a newer memory, if I'm honest with you.
Okay.
It's actually a 2025 memory.
Okay.
From the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So I don't know if you saw it, but the introduction was New Orleans centered.
When
it
they
was
were
the Peanuts, and it was
when they were eating everything in the center there on Bourbon, the intro.
no. Well, it started off like
Right.
that, but then when it got into the dome,
Right.
and it was just like an entire extravaganza. I think P was in there. It's like
Yep.
everybody was in there.
Yep.
That might have been. I don't know. I just got a little chill thinking about that because we were just so proud.
I agree.
Because to the point where we were like, this should have been a halftime show. I don't remember well, I do remember the halftime show. No offense to the halftime show, but
Yeah.
that the intro to the Super Bowl with
was
all
the
the
best
New Orleans.
part.
Oh, it was so
I
good.
said the same thing. I
so
said
good, huh?
I felt so good about how they introduced New Orleans.
They
with
made us look
Emerald back
amazing.
there, and you know they had
Yes.
yeah, you know it was a true moment that showcased the city properly. And
Yep.
at that point I didn't care about the halftime show.
No,
like
same.
honestly, I was so happy about the way they did that. That was
Yeah.
going to bring so much attention to the city, and I appreciated it a lot.
Yeah, I
So,
think that in
good.
conjunction with the what was the other thing we had just had that I don't know if it was like a terrorist attack.
Oh,
or
yeah,
something.
we just had
and
the-
they
yep.
honored everybody for that
Yeah.
and all of that. I just
It was a
that's
good way to cleanse that.
yeah.
that
I
was
would
a
say
good
that's
one.
probably my favorite. Yeah, that's probably my favorite memory now.
That's
It kind of
awesome.
moved up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That was a good one. That was a good one. Well, let's tell people where they can find your book when it comes out, and your socials, and
Okay.
and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so I have Jazzy Brand, Track That Sync, and then I'm Wired to Inspire. So I am WIREDTOINSPIRE.com. That's everything. You go on there, my link tree will pop up. If you want to know about Sync, you can do that. If you want to get inspirational products and services like this book or journals or the Jazzy Brand clothing. And if you just want inspiration, I'm also, I guess, I don't really care for the influencer word, I guess, but I do have a pretty poppin' TikTok and YouTube with a few people check me out, and I just do, I give inspiration.
Life coach.
Yeah,
I'm telling
but
you.
he likes to say
I'm
life
I'm
coach.
telling you, go life coach. Hey, I need one sometimes,
what
so I'm going life coach.
Well, you know what? I'll say this, and I'm kind of saying, you can stop me, but I want to say this with even people just coming to follow my pages and stuff. I do have a unique gift that I've learned to hone over the years, and I've included music in it, but I do really genuinely know how to help people live authentically. You know what I'm saying? So if nothing else, if you're just looking for inspiration, you don't have to buy anything. You don't have to follow me either. It's not even that serious. It's just go to it so you can just see what it looks like when somebody is really being themselves.
Right.
Because sometimes that's all the information you need, and you can just go figure it out for yourself.
Right.
But I'm there for that too if you need it. But yeah, if you go to I'mWiredToInspire.com, you can check it out. Now, y'all stay tuned. I would like you to follow me for this vantage point, though. I am starting my podcast up again, and it'll be called The Inspiration Specialist. And that's my moniker. It's been there for about 10 years now. And yeah, I'll be having a really cool show kind of like this. You might see the same duo again.
There you go.
The interview on the other side.
The other side around.
You
Good.
know what I'm saying?
Good.
But yeah, like I want to be able to do that, and then yeah, just give people as many opportunities as I can to be inspired and musically.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, great. Well, it's blessed to know you, and
Likewise.
Thank you for spending some time with us today. And I appreciate everything you do for the industry. And
thank you so much.
Let's just keep it moving, right?
Yeah,
let's make
for sure.
let's make New Orleans get its cycle again. We got to catch that wave.
Yeah, and thank you for having a place for us too. I think that's something that should be said. And I'm a plugger. You know how I am.
No, absolutely.
Remember for the last, like,
Yep.
put that sign right.
Yep,
And
yep.
did you see it made a difference,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Because I think that you can't. Whenever you know God gives you something, it's for you. So you should always be willing to welcome whatever anybody else has, because
Right.
it's not for you. It's for
Right.
it's room for everybody is my point, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, but thank you for that, because I think the thing that really stood out to us when we've all just moved around doing
Right.
music in bigger cities, right? To come to a facility that was so next level, like I was in New York or
Right.
I was in LA or Atlanta. I'm
Right.
like, no, we got it. We can compete.
Right.
It's the only place with Adobe or whatever.
Right,
You
yep.
get everything new.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we don't have to leave the city to get it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So thank you for that too, because I think that it takes a village, and it's not just being creative, but you have to be able to have the place to house that creativity and compete.
Absolutely.
So thank you for that.
Absolutely. In
as
boxing,
well.
you need the gym, right?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
well, thank you for the plug. I appreciate that.
Saying,
Well, listen, guys, thanks for joining us today on the Elation Podcast in the Drum Room, and we will see you guys next time. Peace. Hi guys, thanks for joining us live on the Elation podcast today. We are here at MusiCon in the Jazz and Heritage Center in the drum room, which is pretty damn cool. I don't know.
Lots of drums in here.
Yeah, lots of drums. You know, every now and then we'll hear a snare sound in the background, but it's good to be here, and good to be here with Gerald Longo. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good to have you here. Before we kind of get into a bunch of stuff, let's just introduce yourself and tell the people what you do and why you're here at MusiCon.
Absolutely. Gerard Longo, founder, CEO of Underground Music Collective. We're a Nashville-based multimedia and educational platform for independent artists, a community of creatives, if you will. And here at NOLA MusiCon for the second year. I was here last year. I got to do my talk on branding called Perfect Your Pitch last year, and came back this year, got involved again, got to lead my workshop, which is an extension of last year's talk. Just got up here, ran across the courtyard from a Ask Me Anything mentor roundtable panel, and also had a chance to serve on the showcase committee this year. So
awesome.
It's been nonstop, a lot of coffee, not a lot of sleep. My voice and knees are holding on by a thread, but here we are.
Not a lot of sleep is something that happens to New Orleans people a lot, you know. So because we like to party, we like to eat, we like to hang out late, and we like to play a lot of music. So
fun fact: my maternal grandmother actually lived here before I was born, like late '70s, early '80s, and she'd always tell my mom, like, in the summertime, you just don't go out during the day, and that's why everybody in New Orleans becomes a night owl, right? Because
absolutely.
The summertime here, if you've never been, like, it's like the humidity.
You're
hot. Right.
It's hot.
You got the Mississippi River, Lake Pontchartrain right there.
Yeah.
You're in the deep south. Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, it gets muggy. It gets muggy. But yeah, we definitely go out at night. We definitely go out at night. What do you think was the best question asked to you on the panel that you just came from?
Ooh, well, somebody asked us a question as far as like, what is your most important milestone and what led you there? And for me, I mean, it was a heavy question, but it was an easy answer.
Right.
This year, I'm telling anybody with ears, it's been the best year of UMC's life, and it's been the best year of my life.
Awesome.
And it's because not only the opportunities that I've had, that we've had as a community, as a platform, but what led to it was just me getting hyper intentional about just who and what I'm dedicating my time to, right? The energy that I'm allowing into my sphere, right? And it's been such an important lesson because we only have so much time in the day. We only have so much bandwidth.
Right.
And we need to, if we're, living in purpose and we're moving towards something and we're building something of impact, a lot of our time is going to go to that, not to mention personal life, family, friends, making sure you're taking care of yourself. And so this year has been a year really for me clearing the distractions, right? Just getting them out of the way, getting distance from anything that I feel is pulling me away from my calling and away from my purpose, and that I think can be an uncomfortable thing,
Absolutely.
Learning
when to say no.
Learning when to say no.
Yeah.
Learning that maybe certain situations, certain relationships aren't for you, or at least aren't for you right now.
Right.
And they're not aligned. There's a line in a song called All of Me, big, gigantic put out with Logic as the feature. And in Logic's verse, he says, "We see eye to eye, but you ain't in my vision," you know? And you might at one point have really resonated or clicked with a person, a situation, but if that's no longer the case, and you're competing against each other, more than you're helping support each other and help each other grow, then it's time to reconsider that, right? And so for me, by clearing those decks and focusing on my controllables, focusing on creating new experiences personally, professionally, and everything that, we're working on. Like, it's really helped revolutionize the platform, bring so many wonderful people into my life who are colleagues and now friends. And it's helped us do more here together. We came down, last year I came down here, it was just me. I did my talk and otherwise fly on the wall, didn't know anybody, I'm just learning, I'm taking it in.
Right.
This year we brought like a lot of the people in our community here, and they're running around asking questions, soaking it in,
Awesome.
and everyone's finding ways that not only they can help their own careers, but also contribute to this ecosystem.
Awesome. Well, it's funny, even getting older, in stages, and like, I have two young kids, even having kids now, like, start to learn your time is much more valuable when you have certain things that you have to handle. And so you start to identify, all right, I'm going to narrow my path. And I guess it's almost that aim small, miss small type of thought process, right?
Right.
And then when you get that pointed on something, normally you can make it happen.
Yeah. At the beginning of this year, I was, in the process of finishing my book, and I was, I had South by Southwest coming up. I got to do my workshop there in March, and I had just gone through like this very rough and bizarre pseudo breakup over the holidays, and there was a lot lingering about that situation, and I'm like, okay, I can focus on that and spend energy on this situation that I know isn't fitting into my life or working out anymore, or I can take that energy and redirect it into something positive, productive, that is going to set the tone for the road ahead.
Right.
I could look back or I could look ahead. And that looking ahead has been the most beneficial thing. And that's what's led not only to successfully reaching those milestones, the book and South by, but everything that's come since then. So many of the connections I made at South by Southwest and even here last year, have come full circle to where Mandy Ortiz from Dawn Audio, who is on the showcase committee with me, we met at South by for like 90 seconds.
Right.
And if I didn't go to that event, and I didn't like make sure I was intentional about like, okay, who do I want to get to know and what do I want to get to know about what they do, and then follow up after the conference, maybe we wouldn't have ended up working together.
Right.
And we just had 2 great events this week together that we curated, and it's a beautiful thing. I've run into people that I've met previously at previous stops along the journey, and we've all kind of converged here, and it's really interesting to see like just the amazing energy, the creativity, the collaborative spirit, the community mindedness that comes together in an environment like this, and when you focus on your contribution to that environment.
Right. So old school networking still works.
It does. It does. And even in leading the team here, leading up over the past couple of weeks, and even when we got here, I just said, find ways to be useful.
Right.
Find ways that to not only advocate for yourself, but figure out where that self-advocacy fits into the greater whole.
Absolutely.
Right? What do you think that you can do to affect things for the better? Because there are a lot of issues in our industry, as we know.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And it's more complicated than ever, right? With the advent and the rise of AI,
Right.
and of course, the industry infrastructure kind of at odds with this new wave of creative artistpreneurship, right? How do we make it work, and how do we make sure that artists, that creatives continue to have a seat at the table?
Right.
And it starts by showing up and advocating for yourself, number one, and making sure you take that seat. And when you take that seat, you listen to the conversations happening at that table.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I always say music gives me so much. I find ways to give back to music. Like I feel like it has to be a reciprocal thing. Otherwise, I feel like it gets stagnant. So if you keep giving yourself back to it, it'll keep giving you more.
Right. And I think that service mindset is very important.
Right.
And I think if you're coming into this thinking that your success is the most important thing, and everything else is secondary or somehow beneath that, you're going to have a bad time.
Right, absolutely.
This is, art, this is culture, this is community, and all of those things require our humanness to connect to other humans.
Absolutely.
And if it's just about, well, how much money is this going to make me right now? Who is this person going to connect me to? Like, what can you do for me?
Right.
Then that's just not the way to be a good citizen.
You have to live the art.
Right.
You have to live the art.
Yeah, and understand that you're making that art to connect to other human beings.
100%.
And what about you connects and resonates with people to where they're going to buy into that and want to tap in and be a part of that journey and be a part of that community where you can celebrate each other.
Absolutely. And it's a fragile thing, I feel like, that line, that you have to cross between business and art, you know? And I feel like nowadays artists have to be more business mindset than they ever used to be, you know? They used to pass that stuff off on the manager. You can't be that pass off anymore. You can have a manager, but you need to know the process and what's going on. Otherwise, you're going to get skimmed, you're going to get cut, things aren't going to actually work out for you. So you kind of have to know the whole process.
Know enough to be dangerous.
Yeah.
Know what good is, at least.
Like taxes. Know enough to be dangerous, but don't do them. Right. Don't do your own taxes.
Yeah. Like, know enough to know that when you do delegate that thing, that the person that you're delegating it to knows what they're doing better than you.
Correct.
Right? Like, I used this example down there on the panel just a little while ago. Like, I'm a very much big picture, right-brained vision kind of guy, right? My business partner, Joe Boz, who came into the fold this year, he's got military background, like very detailed logistics oriented. You know, when we're figuring out how to get everybody down here, like he was the guy that took care of the lodging. He was the guy that, you know, gave me things to think about as far as transportation, like, hey, Gerard, maybe 5 people's bags won't fit in your tiny Nissan Versa.
Right.
And it's like, how are we going to do this and how are we going to handle it in a way that's going to work and make sense for everybody? I can do that stuff, but like he's better at it,
Right.
you know? And that lets me focus on the big picture and kind of setting the table for us once we get here, right? There are folks on our team like Nicholas Soul with New Renaissance, who is an amazing content creator, video editor. I can edit video. I can't do it as well as he can,
Right.
and I can't do it as fast as he can,
Right.
right? So having people around you that have skills to bring to the table is important, but also like having it make sense in the context of like, how are we all working together and moving together to make sure that everybody here wins and everyone has a chance to
Absolutely. Well, my favorite chart in business is the circle chart. You got if you can complete the circle, you'll keep going round and around, and everybody makes money, right?
Right.
But let's see. What do you think your biggest takeaways from this year from the MusiCon so far?
Well, the funny thing is, it's such a different experience for me this year. And both have been great experiences. But last year, I came here not knowing anybody, you know.
Right.
You know, at least not in this market, right? And it was just like, all right, there's this cool conference in New Orleans. I applied, I got accepted, I'm going to go. I can't wait, you know. And it was like, almost like a kid in a candy store feeling last year. And I think, you know, the big takeaway for me last year was the closing night showcase was at Cafe Istanbul. And I had done a few conferences to that point, and it just kind of dawned on me, like, we're all having the same conversations in these different places.
Right.
What if we have them together? And that's really informed a lot of our work as far as the community we're building, the Underdogs community at Underground Music Collective. Like, yeah, we're based in Nashville, but we're building these pipelines out to other markets, down here to New Orleans, up to Canada. We've been a few times in the past year. Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, where I moved to Nashville from. Great music scene there. Largest free music festival in the country, by the way. It's called Music Fest. They do a conference. They're bringing that back next year. It's like, how can we get all these places and people talking to each other? There's another great one in Charlotte, Confluence, Carolina.
Right.
It's in its 3rd year. And everybody has, you know, their own perspectives based on what they're dealing with locally, but there's this bigger picture of like the industry issues and the industry challenges that we're all seeking to address, right? And so how do we just get people talking to each other and create this groundswell of creatives to, again, take more seats at the table and advocate for ourselves, right? And then I think this year, seeing that play out in real time by having my team and having our artists here,
Right.
and seeing how they're moving, you know, and seeing how they're, there was a great investor panel at the New right before the opening reception the other night. And a bunch of us went down there. I then had to go over to the venue for the showcase, so I didn't get to stick around for the reception. But before that, it was the Q&A. And one of our artists by the name of Foundation Mecca, amazing artist, he's gotten placed in Sync, great producer. He asked the panelists, like, how can we, coming from Nashville, contribute to the environment here in New Orleans? And immediately people around the room were like, collaborate with our artists, do this, do that. And it's like seeing that happen in real time and seeing like kind of that seed, that little whisper that was in my ear last year about how do we get people talking to each other?
Right.
Seeing one of my friends and artists like ask that question and get such great responses, it's like, that's the vision come to life.
Right. Well, because one of the questions I was going to ask you was, what do you think from an outsider's perspective, you know, what does Nashville do better than New Orleans does in the music industry?
Well, Nashville has the traditional industry infrastructure.
Right.
You know, it's Music City. And I think my interpretation of that, and maybe I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, it's Music Business City.
Right.
And I feel sometimes like having too much like industry, you know, kind of overriding the creative process.
Oh, absolutely. It becomes corporate, just like a franchise does in a restaurant. You know,
Right.
you know, mom and pop might get bought by a corporate chain, and the next thing you know, the food quality goes down because everything is about the bottom line, not about the food itself.
Right.
And I feel it can blur the lines, but I
Yeah.
feel like we're too much on the other side. I feel like we've got all the creativity that you could imagine, but we don't have the infrastructure to get past certain plateaus.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like the soul and the grit and the creative spirit at the heart of this city. I mean, you see people riding bikes wearing whatever they want here.
Right.
You know, it's very like
Sometimes nothing.
sometimes nothing, you know? And like I appreciate that because, you know, you look at the difference between Broadway and Nashville and Bourbon Street here.
Right.
Both like huge tourist destinations, right? Broadway though has become very like corporatized and commercialized. Every country artist du jour has their name on a bar. Bourbon Street's the Bourbon Street it's always been.
Right,
You know,
right.
and what I love about your city is it's just like come as you are because we certainly are. It makes
Right.
no apologies.
Absolutely.
And
we're the pirate city.
Yeah.
We really where the pirates came to hide from the army. That's where they dipped up, and that's kind of where they stayed up in here. You know, so I feel like we've kept that vibe pretty much throughout history.
Yeah, and it's so unapologetic, and I love that because that's, you know, we talk a lot about authenticity,
Right.
you know, within our community, within my workshops, you know, building your authentic artist brand. Your brand is you.
Right.
And like when you really lean into your you-ness, you know, the real like essence of who you are, that's going to attract more of that, right?
Right.
And I think events like this are super powerful because you have that creative spirit and that artist-centric heart mixed with this industry knowledge from people all over the place, you know,
Right.
meeting people from Nashville, meeting people from New York, Bay Area, you know, everybody kind of has different things to add to the mix. And it really creates a more robust ecosystem and more connection. So your artist here in New Orleans can come up to Nashville,
Right.
can go to New York, can go out west and have these connections, these relationships that continue to build over time and vice versa. You know, when we want to go get a little soul and culture, we're going to be right back down here on the first flight, you know?
Right.
And it's like, how can we help each other win? And how can we take what we all do well and add it to the mix to create this greater community?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and staying on the music business side a little bit, what would you think one of the new lessons that an artist needs to learn in today's industry?
Let's see. We already covered know enough to be dangerous, right? So that's one that's been coming up a lot. I would say a couple lessons that really stand out to me, because the book is titled 60 Plus Lessons from the Creative Journey, is first of all, just start, right? Like we all begin from zero.
Right.
We all begin with just an idea. Like Underground Music Collective began with a podcast in my childhood bedroom in New Jersey because I needed an outlet for my corporate day job,
Right.
which was a cool job, but
Right.
it wasn't mine. And I've always been the type of person to just need my own outlet or I
Right.
feel like I'm suffocating, right? And so I had done college radio. I had a weekend to myself. I didn't have anything to do. I listened back to some of those episodes and I was so emotionally moved. I'm like, this is the thing. I want to do this again. Because I remembered in college, we had a small but dedicated audience of 10 to 15 people every week
Right.
who would be there, and they'd be sending us stuff for the show. AOL Instant Messenger was a thing at the time, to date myself.
Right, yeah.
And like, you know, instant feedback, you know, as we're on the show, live on the air, people are giving us that. And like having that energy exchange, like I decided in that moment, like I want to do something that impacts people. I don't want to just be a spoke in the wheel. Never did I think it would lead here.
Right.
You know, but I just had to start. I had to pick a point, and that point was, okay, tomorrow I'm going to Best Buy, buying a USB mic, figuring out how to use it. I need a logo. I need a Facebook and a Twitter, as it was known at the time, a
Right.
Twitter handle, and then a place to upload the shows, and it was SoundCloud at the time.
Right.
I didn't know what I was doing, but I picked a point and went. And then I had a bunch of friends from community theater, shout out to Scotty Rock, Elle, the whole crew, who wanted to be a part of it, and we had a good, like, almost 2-year run in the beginning doing that. Then people kind of start drifting, going different ways. I moved back to Bethlehem, where I'd gone to college, and there's a local music scene there. So we started Lehigh Valley Underground as a local blog and support
Right.
system for the artists, reviewing local original releases. I taught myself photography, would go out and shoot shows. Eventually we start, you know, working on events and partnerships with the city, with Arts Quest, which puts on Music Fest every year. They've always been super supportive. Every first opportunity I've ever gotten in this industry has been due to Arts Quest. And, you know, from there, like, I learned enough to be dangerous, but I also started to recognize there are things I don't know.
Right.
Right? And so from there, never when I started that podcast did I think one day I'm going to live in Nashville.
Right.
But then a couple months after that revelation, in late 2018, I was relocating to Nashville, and we were Underground Music Collective now. And as I've got, you know, I had a day job the first couple of years there to kind of get my bearings. left that at the start of 2021. Great timing, middle of a pandemic.
Right.
And that leap will teach you everything you need to know about yourself, personally and professionally, all the holes that you need to fill in your game, right?
Absolutely.
And so as I've become more entrepreneurial and have just like dedicated myself to sticking it out no matter what, so has the platform, right? And so that's what we're trying to teach these artists is like, think and move like an entrepreneur. And bring that back, you know, into and filter it through the lens of your creativity,
Right.
and speak up for yourself,
Right.
in everything that you do, and find the people who are picking up what you're putting down. And so that all came from that seed, that whisper, that just start, right?
Absolutely. Well, and I always say everybody starts with a bad note. You know.
Oh, we have plenty.
Yeah, like, you know, like that's everybody starts with a bad note. And like even me, like when I decided I wanted to be a producer, I knew nothing about what was going on. So I went to Guitar Center to buy some stuff. I bought some speakers, this and that. I bought a keyboard, not knowing that the MIDI keyboard was different. So I get home and there's nowhere to connect it to anything.
Right.
I bought a regular Casio like keyboard. You know, you just everybody's got to get up and just start moving, and then each time you screw up is a lesson that you learn forever if you do it in real life. You know, you can't read lessons as much as you can live them, although you should learn from other people's mistakes.
Absolutely. And I think another one that really sticks out to me is, and this comes from my mother, may you always have the courage to take a chance. You know, it's scary putting yourself out there, right? In any way, you know, whether that's business, whether that's asking the person out that you like whatever it is, you know, like going back to school can be scary, you know, and learning things you don't know. Like all these things can be very humbling experiences. And I've been humbled so many times over the past 12 and a half years, right? Since we started the show in 2013. And I always tell people, like, UMC and everything that came before it, it's lived a lot of lives, it's died a lot of deaths.
Right.
But I think the thing that really sets it apart and sets me apart is I'm willing to fail. I'm willing to fail spectacularly and sometimes publicly.
Right.
But then I'm willing to take that and be like, okay, well, this is what I learned from it.
Right.
And no matter what, don't quit, right? Like, there are times where, like, retreating, I think, would have been the more sensible, more logical thing to do.
Right.
Like, okay, you know.
Music is not logical, though.
No.
The business of it is not logical, and neither is the actual art, which is why I love it. I mean, it's like math to me. You know, math is never ending. There's always another math problem to learn. Always. Music's the same way. There's always another way to play or to do something new. Always something to learn. So I feel like it always keeps your brain moving and working, and it'll never stop.
Yeah. Yeah, always another hill to climb, too.
Yeah.
Always that next thing. It's like, okay, I did that. That's great. Oh, there's more to this mountain.
Yep. And every time you get to that top where you think you're in the top, next thing you kind of look up and you realize that there is another mountain on top, but you don't see that second mountain until you get to that first mountain.
It's obscured in the clouds there, you know?
Yep.
And, you know, that's something that I think upon moving to Nashville, I realized pretty quickly is like there really are no finish lines, you know, like unless you want there to be.
Right.
Unless you say, you know what, I'm good, I'm done.
Right.
Like, I'm going to go do something else now.
Right.
But, like, as long as your creative spirit is, you know, still pushing you towards something, you can go do that thing.
Right.
You know, and it's just really, what's your mindset about it? You know, there's always another hill to climb, and there's always a new version of yourself that you're going to have to meet and really step into and adopt within in order to reach that next plateau, right? And it never ends. And I think a big part of, you know, accepting that is also in accepting the process, you know, accepting that it is a process and falling in love with that, you know, and not just looking at this, you know, point on a map in the future where I'm going to be rich and famous and then I'm just going to manifest it. I'm going to sit here and it's going to happen.
Right.
Because somebody's going to discover me. No,
it takes action.
It takes action and daily consistent action. And also, like, to go back to that earlier point about, you know, managing the energy, the antidote to any chaos is that consistency. When you're on your purpose, nothing can throw you off.
Right.
When you're focused on a thing, like all the other stuff around you that could pull you away from that purpose and from your values just becomes noise.
Right.
And you quickly learn how to tune it out.
Right. 100%. 100%. Finding that is difficult, especially for artists. And we're so creative, sometimes we can get you know, a little bit too cloudy in our heads about what we're doing and where
Yeah.
we're going and what paint to use, I guess you could say, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But finding that purpose and filling that void and staying there and being consistent is definitely something that can help a lot of artists.
Absolutely.
Did you do any New Orleans like town, going out into town?
Oh, yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you go see some local music?
Yeah.
Well, what was your favorite venue you walked into?
You know, I really loved the Rabbit Hole last night. And
Okay.
I want to say, too, Cafe Istanbul was great to us. We actually did our own event as UMC there Monday night before the official showcase, the Crescent City Crossroads with the conference on Tuesday night. They were really great to us and pretty much just let us have the run of the place to create the event we wanted to create. The Rabbit Hole is a really interesting space because you have that outdoor section, like this big outdoor courtyard. You've got a second stage out there, and you could do a lot of really cool like visual stuff and like experiential stuff out there. And then in the venue, it's this club venue, and it's just got that like kind of gritty, raw spirit energy. The lighting was great in there, the sound's great, and you know, we had some really amazing acts. We worked on that, of course, with Mandy Ortiz and her Dawn Audio team. They did a beat battle, you know, in between sets.
Awesome.
So we had a bunch of producers from different producer communities. There were producers here, a couple of our folks from Nashville. There was a guy all the way from out in Boise, Idaho, who came and submitted to the beat battle.
Wow.
And it was like just this really cool backdrop in this space to have these communities of people who didn't know each other prior come together, you know, and it was really that like come in as strangers, leave as friends type of thing. You could feel that in the room,
Right.
you know, where, you know, Brother Dusty is one of our artists, and one of his band members actually won the beat battle, King of the Hill style at the end. So it's like you had, you know, a UMC adjacent artist, right?
Right.
You know, getting in the mix and like winning this beat battle with Dawn Audio, you know? So it's this perfect, like, you know, coming together of our communities, you know, ours based in Nashville, theirs based here in New Orleans with some folks, you know, all scattered throughout. And, you know, I'm amazed at, you know, the ability of this collective group of people to create such a powerful experience in that space. But I don't think the experience would have been what it was without the space being what it is.
Right.
And so I really appreciate like how we were able to, in both spaces, Rabbit Hole and Cafe Istanbul, like curate the experience to the venue, right?
Right.
And create something, you know, tailored to that environment where people are going to leave there feeling like, wow, I just experienced something cool, great artist, great energy. I'm going to tell my friends about what's going on here, and I'm going to bring them to the next one next
Right.
year or whenever it is. I'd love to be back here before next October, you know?
Right.
But that's my long-winded answer to that question.
No, I love the Rabbit Hole. This is a great spot.
Yeah.
It's in both cool, awesome. So we have some great venues. But the Rabbit Hole is definitely one of them. What would you say your favorite local band is?
Favorite local band? Lapis was really good last night.
Okay.
Brazilian funk. Julia, the lead vocalist, like she's so expressive, and most of it, if not all of the lyrics are in Portuguese, and
Right.
I don't know Portuguese, but the way like she'll break into this like spoken word like rap, you know, style sometimes. She's a great singer too, but as she's doing that, like she's so expressive that I was leaning in, hanging on every word, and I didn't understand a word she was saying. And I told her that after. I'm like, the way you just like pulled me in, like
Right.
I didn't have to know what the words were to pick up on the energy of it.
Sometimes you can feel the emotion, you know, and you can kind of navigate what she's saying through the emotion and catching every third word, which might sound like a Spanish word, you're like, or an Italian word, like Portuguese is funny like that. Like it's a very hard language to listen to, but I feel like music can the melodies and the emotion behind it, like going to a play and listening to an Italian or an opera and listening to an Italian opera singer, but you don't know Italian. Like I feel like you can pick up on those energies and you can attach yourself to that moment.
Yeah.
You know, and somehow understand it even though you didn't.
Yeah, there was another situation like that at South by. This artist, she goes by Chloe's Clue. She's from Spain, and actually she was staying at the same lodging where I was staying, and we just kind of met in passing. She's like, "Oh, come to my showcase," and I did. And again, all of her music's in Spanish.
Right.
Right. And I took Spanish in high school. It's been 20 plus years.
Right.
So like I knew a few words, you
Right.
know. But the way she used her eyes and like to just like convey emotions and convey like, you know, sometimes she'd be like really like defiant and pouty. Sometimes she'd be like really bright and like you could just see it in her eyes, like what she was trying to convey. Another one of those situations where like you don't need to know the language
Right.
to pick up on the feeling.
Absolutely.
And that's what's beautiful about this medium.
Oh, that's like with love, man. The eyes never lie, right?
Yeah.
The eyes never lie.
Right.
What do you think your favorite music memory is here in New Orleans?
Favorite music memory. I mean, there have been so many. I'm still processing the ones from from this week. You know, I will say last year, just coming here, I had been to New Orleans before, like overnight, but last year was the first time I had spent a few days here. And just like, I love how you can just walk up and down Bourbon Street and like you've got, you know, people drumming on plastic buckets,
Right.
you know, and then the clubs, you know, open windows, you hear jazz coming from this place, you have some like Delta blues coming from another place. And it's so, you know, it's so diverse and you just kind of feel like, you know, it really is like a gumbo pot, you know.
100%.
of
Well, and they're so
styles.
close, and sometimes you feel like, you know, you would think that they compete, but if you walk into each place, you'll understand that each one has its own vibe, its own energy, its own specific moment in time.
Yeah.
You know, and I love that about New Orleans too. There is no ending to the creativity and to the amount of genres that you will hear in one night.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, yeah. And I think too, like, I'm also just really proud of our artists who made the trip down and just the way they were able to just, whatever their role was in this experience, just like grab on and go. Like we did, you know, we had a few of our artists on the official showcases and we put together a separate one for the other folks who came down with their team just, you know, to get them an opportunity to play.
Right.
And there was a really interesting, the other night at Cafe Istanbul on Monday night during our show, where a few of our hip hop artists just got up there and did a cypher and just complete freestyle. It wasn't exactly planned, and they all just knocked it out of the park. And I, of course, like I would expect nothing less, but just the way that they just like completely new city,
Right.
you know, where none of them had ever been or at least ever performed before, and they just get up there and at the end of the night, you've got people from Nashville connecting with people from New Orleans, from Atlanta. You know, it's again, come as strangers, leave as friends, and like the music created that.
Right.
Right. That, and it was, you know, a small but mighty crowd, but like everybody was really tapped into what everyone else was doing, and I love seeing that happen. I love seeing people come together through this media and what they can create from there. And yeah, I'm proud of everybody, you know, who has made the trip with us and new friends, new artists that we've met. Just to kind of see what they're able to do through their art and, you know, what they bring to the table specifically is always really exciting for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, great having you here today. It was a
Thanks
great
for having me.
discussion. You want to tell everybody where they can find your socials and look up what you got going on?
Yeah, umcworldwide.com, at UMC Worldwide on at least most of the socials. I don't know if I changed it over on LinkedIn yet. It might still be UMC Nashville there. But we're global now, so it's UMC Worldwide. And that's the thing is like when when I moved to Nashville, I didn't want to put Nashville in the name because I wanted us to have this ability to, I mean, at first I wanted to bring what I learned in Nashville back to Bethlehem, but now it's like I want us to be able to reach and impact no matter where you are. And that's
Right.
just the world we're in, right? And so, you know, where everything's so much more connected. So that's why that's our, it's in our name, it's in our game, umcworldwide.com.
There you go. There you go. Awesome. Well, great. Like I said, great having you here today and
thanks
great
for
talk. And thank you guys for listening today here at MusiCon on Elation Podcast. And we will see you next time. Peace.
Thanks so much.
Yep. Hi guys, thanks for joining us live today on the Elation podcast. We are here at NOLA MusiCon at the Jazz and Heritage Center in the drum room, which is pretty crazy, I think, right? I love the drum room. This is awesome. We're here today with Fiona Bloom. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And I love drums too,
Oh,
actually. I'm looking at the Gretsch right over
Oh
there.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a great room to be. Well, good to have you here.
Yes, thank you for inviting me. Thank
Absolutely.
you for having me.
Absolutely.
I love New Orleans.
Oh, it's such a great town, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm here for NOLA MusiCon, as you said.
Right.
And I live in New York and Atlanta. Actually, just left New York after 30 years there, and I just moved to Atlanta recently.
Oh
so,
wow.
yeah.
What brought you to Atlanta?
Actually, my parents, you know,
Okay.
aging parents kind of brought me there. But it's funny because I went to school at Georgia State University and got into college radio and then commercial radio. So I kind of went back to my roots of where it all started.
Where it all
basically.
started.
Yeah. So,
All right, awesome.
because a lot of people don't know that I was a radio personality too. So yeah.
That's awesome. You know, I can hear it in your voice
Yes.
and how you talk. I can hear it. I
Yes.
can hear it. Well, and so I hear an accent too. Where are you from?
It's so confusing, I know, because I live in Atlanta, spent 30 years in New York, went to Georgia State, but yet I don't have a Southern accent. I don't have a New York accent.
No.
I am from London, England.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah,
Love London.
so I grew up there.
Okay, awesome.
And still have family there as well. So
Awesome. Love London.
Yeah.
Been there a few times. It's an amazing place. It
It
actually reminds me a lot of New Orleans.
really,
Yeah, you know,
Like
the
the cobble-
cobblestone streets and
Yes.
some of the pubs and stuff, you know, the way
100%.
it kind of reminds me of the area and some of the architecture stuff, you know, because New Orleans is a little bit of everything. We got a little bit of everybody's
a lot
home.
of flavor.
Yeah.
Same with London. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but good. Well, I'm glad you're here in New Orleans.
Yes, love it here. I've been here many times.
Well, so can you maybe explain to some
Yes.
people what you do here in the industry and
Yeah.
and what you've done, and
Yeah.
then we'll go from there.
Yeah. So it all started, as college radio DJ. But I have an agency at the moment that I had for about 12 years now, called the Bloom Effect, and it's a one-stop shop. It's marketing, branding, international consulting, booking, publicity, a plethora of things, really, many facets of the wheel of the industry. And I'm also known as a tastemaker as well, and a global connector.
Gotcha.
And the connector part is interesting because I like to basically introduce people to everyone. And you don't make a living as a connector, but it's really nice to see things sort of come together and the fruit at the end. You know, when people
Absolutely.
have established, deals, or they've ended up becoming best friends from
Right.
the connection and the introductions that I make. And so for me, that's really rewarding. And I say all that to say New Orleans has a really sweet spot in my heart because I've done a lot for the New Orleans culture. I've promoted New Orleans music primarily, really across the world. I've done showcases with New Orleans artists in Europe. I've done stuff in New York. Just recently, I did something with Waterseed
Okay,
and
yep,
Friends
yep,
at
absolutely.
New Blue.
Yep.
I did 6 weeks with them every single week. I think it was every Wednesday in a really cool club in New York called New Blue. So Lou and his crew with
Yep.
Waterseed would basically bring up different guests each week, and I hosted the show.
Awesome.
And it was really successful because not only were we getting the word out about all the incredible musicianship coming out of New Orleans, but we were also getting press, a lot of visibility, building a buzz,
Right.
getting more excitement.
They got some new tech involved too, right? Yeah,
Exactly.
they're we've had them on for the show for
Yeah.
Elation. Yeah,
So it was really cool. I mean,
yeah.
they're an amazing band live. But then so were the others that they brought out. I
Right,
mean, they
right.
brought out Flag Boy Giz or whatever his name is.
Right.
Crucial. They brought out Dawn Richard.
Right.
So I met amazing, amazing artists. And in fact, I saw Dawn Richard yesterday and we chatted for a while. She's like, yeah, I remember hanging out with you in New York and thank you and all of that. So, I've helped Crucial. I mean, I introduced Crucial to an artist I was looking after from Paris, who's a rapper called Tracy Dessar. They connected. She was looking for a feature for her new album. So I introduced them. Next thing you know, they're in the studio together. Next thing you know, he's on her album. And then she's bringing him out to Europe, to Spain and France for her album release parties.
There you go.
So her first time in Europe, Crucial gets to go there, to tour and perform
That's
with
awesome.
this really well-known artist. So he's making a name for himself in Europe now.
That's awesome.
So I had a hand in that.
That's awesome.
Latraniump, who's now obviously in Texas.
Right.
I've done some work with him. Can I tell you a crazy story about Tank and the Bangers?
Please.
Years ago, Tavia? Is that her name?
Tavia.
Years ago, Tavia reached out to me because they were looking for a publicist. This is kind of a really sad story. one of my biggest regrets, I should say. They chased me down pretty heavily. Tavia is hardcore like that. She
Yeah,
chased
she
me down
is.
pretty heavily. She's like, I really want you to come to the show. This is very early stages, Tank and the Bangers. It was probably like 2016, 2015.
Gotcha.
I think. And I just didn't have the time. I didn't have the bandwidth. You know, I'm sort of a one-woman operation. I have a couple of interns. I have a couple part-timers. But I'm doing everything for the most part, and I'm working like 24/7.
Right.
So I honestly just didn't have the time to make it to their show. And then I missed doing a meeting with the band. And the rest is history.
Oh,
because
man.
they blew up.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to have them as a client.
Oh man, yeah.
But I had to shout that out because
That's funny. That's
again,
a funny
the whole New
story.
Orleans connection.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, great story. But you know, there's tons of things like that in the industry. I
Yes.
mean, Lady Gaga, if she wouldn't have met Akon in that one moment, like I don't think anybody, you know, it would have been a longer time until we heard her voice, you know, and
Yeah.
and then you have DJ Khaled, it didn't listen to Eminem's tape, you know. We have
yeah.
there's things like that in the industry. There's so many things that take your time away. You can't
Yes.
possibly do everything.
We call those missed opportunities,
Yes.
lost opportunities. But for every missed opportunity, there's always another opportunity.
Absolutely.
And I take advantage of as many opportunities as I can. So when Melissa asked me to come to NOLA MusiCon, she actually asked me to be on the very first one.
Okay.
And I was like, yes, sign me up. But I ended up getting the flu or COVID or something.
wow.
Because it was right after COVID.
Right.
And I ended up getting COVID. I don't know what happened. But couldn't make that. Couldn't make it last year. But I'm finally
But
here.
you're finally here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're finally here.
Yeah, and you don't really need an excuse to come to
New Orleans. No,
I mean,
no, it's funny. I'm born and raised here, but I lived in LA for a long time. And I couldn't get anybody to come to LA that was from down here,
Yeah.
or, you know, other than a few family members. I couldn't get anybody to come out to LA. But when I moved back home, everybody from LA that I met in LA is coming to New Orleans.
Yeah,
You know, it's an easy place to sell.
Oh my God, so easy. I mean, the food's incredible, the culture, the people, the music, you know, the art. It's just everywhere you turn, there's something cool happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
and I'm actually staying in Uptown, so I get a whole nother
You get a whole nother perspective of it.
Staying with a good friend here. So I have a
Awesome.
lot of friends here too. So,
Awesome. Yeah, we're a friendly place.
Yes.
Yeah, we're a friendly place.
Yes.
Well, so I know you just came from talking on a panel. You want
Yes.
to tell a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I moderated the panel Build Your Buzz. And, you know, I can pretty much do that in my sleep. I mean, not without tooting my own horn, but
Right.
the buzz, you know, publicist. I mean, the first thing people think of when you do PR or when you're putting together a PR campaign, you are building a buzz, you're creating
Right.
a buzz. Of course, it's much bigger than PR because it takes everything to build a buzz. It takes
Absolutely.
booking festivals, it takes doing a TikTok moment, it takes having a cool collaboration, a cool visual.
Right.
You know, I used to work with MF Doom back in
Right.
the day. He signed to my record label years ago, MF Doom. He had the metal face.
Right.
I mean, that itself, he didn't even have to get on stage. You were already talking about him because of his metal face.
Right.
So yeah, so I just got through moderating that, had a great panel. The panelists were great. Most of them I already knew. So there was really good synergy. Because it's always good when you know the panelists prior.
oh, absolutely.
Because then you have that sort of chemistry already that's
Absolutely.
sort of built in.
And you can also plug in different things because you know the person has done things,
Exactly.
and you can, yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. I like it that way. It's
Yeah.
much better that
Oh,
way.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And we had a good audience. I mean, I was hoping for a packed audience. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say that every seat was filled, but it was a good turnout. And it was also early in the morning. I
Right.
mean, not that early, but 11 a.m. is pretty early for New Orleans standards or for any
absolutely.
music nightlife standards because people are out
Absolutely.
of the clubs late. So
Well, and I do feel like we're getting more and more people that are wanting to learn.
yeah, you would think, right?
You know,
I say that half of the battle here for people that are trying to get into the industry or want to learn in the business and want to meet people like myself is you got to show up.
Right.
You got to show up, and you got to show up on time, and you got to show up to the right places and be at the places that you can be at, and no excuse. No
Right.
excuses. Oh, car broke down. Oh, I woke up late. Or I got in late last night. No.
none of that.
None of that is acceptable.
Right.
None.
Right. No, none of those that you should accept for yourself.
Right.
You know, because especially if
Exactly.
you're working on when you're working on your music career, you're working on yourself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you're your own boss at that point.
So kudos to the people that were in the room that did show up,
Right.
because they're the ones that are going to go further than the other ones who didn't show up. Right. So.
Well, you know, we kind of touched on this, and normally I ask a little later, but we're kind of already
Yeah.
there. What do you think New Orleans is missing as far as industry goes?
Wow. Well, I just moved to Atlanta, right?
Right.
And a lot of people said that Atlanta, the industry's not there. It was going to take a while. It takes time to cultivate a scene. It takes time to cultivate an industry. It takes time to sell the idea of people in New York and LA and Nashville that there are things happening in
Elsewhere.
your
Right,
market,
right.
in your music city, because we call them music cities.
Right.
It could be anywhere, Seattle, Portland, San Francisco,
Right.
right? Chicago,
Right.
New Orleans. So I think it's just a matter of just believing and just patience and determination to get people here.
Right.
And just continuing to build the stories, the success stories, like the Tank of the Bangers,
Right.
like the Water Seeds, like the Crucials, just to know that Chawa, all these different artists that are here, John Batiste,
Right.
that there is a scene of very successful musicians that are coming out of here, Trombone Shorty, I
Right.
mean, the list goes on and on.
On and on.
How do I say it? I want to say, what is the name of this band? Dumpster Truck, I think they're called. Anyway, there's so many great bands.
Dumpster Truck,
here
that's
out of
right.
New
Yeah, it
Orleans.
is. Right.
So so it just takes, continuing to build upon the success story of what has already, the foundation that's already been laid. And for more and more of that to get out, the business starts to come here. ASCAP opens up a New Orleans office. They send the PROs. There's a Recording Academy chapter.
Right.
I mean, I know it's Memphis, but it covers New Orleans.
I know.
But maybe at some point there will be a dedicated New Orleans.
I've been on Reedwick about
Right.
that since I've known them.
Exactly.
I don't know
So-
why.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It takes time. It could take 10 years. It could take 5. It could take 15.
Right.
It could take 20. But it will happen with perseverance, determination, dedication, and the constant hustle to continue building on what you already
Well, and it comes
have.
in waves, and I feel like we haven't had a wave in a while. It's about time.
Yeah.
It's about time.
But all eyes are on New Orleans, it feels like. I mean, there's a show called New Orleans,
Yeah.
right? There's a TV show.
yeah.
There's, when it comes to food and cuisine, there's amazing chefs that come out of this area,
Absolutely.
this region. I think with the culture and the foundation that's here, and obviously jazz. I mean,
Right.
Jazz Fest has already put New Orleans on the map, and I would
Absolutely.
think that anybody in the jazz industry, in the jazz business world, would be coming down here back and forth, at least setting up shop, just to be more successful across the globe by being here. In
No,
New Orleans.
100%. Well,
Yeah.
and it's a little bit about
Yeah.
cutting your teeth a little bit
Yes.
in those areas.
Yes.
But as far as the modern music business,
Yeah.
we're pretty lacking in structure,
Yeah,
in
the
infrastructure.
resources,
yeah, the
the
resources
infrastructure,
and those
the
things.
technology.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, 'cause
you
that-
need more funding. That's what it is.
Right. Well,
you need the funding.
100%. In all aspects.
Yeah.
But because I'm born and raised here, but I spent 9 years in LA,
Yeah.
and as I was coming back and forth, realizing or meeting family and stuff, and trying to dip my toe in the industry here, realized that we've just been forgotten about infrastructure-wise.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So that's when I decided to come home and build Elation,
Yeah.
which kind of gives a all-in-one record label building in the sense that you can use to prop up your art and facilitate
Yes.
stuff on the same scale that you would be doing in LA, New York, Atlanta,
Yeah.
Chicago.
So we need more people like you.
Yeah.
More people that are moving in from New York, moving in from LA, moving in from Nashville to New Orleans.
That has the industry in their mind.
and has some funding
Right.
and support
Yeah.
and resources
Yep.
that will create what you are doing here with Elation as well.
Absolutely.
There's a woman that I met yesterday called Cole Williams. She works here for the foundation. She's also an artist as well. She has a local radio show on WWOZ.
Yes.
She's also building a lot for the community here and came from Brooklyn
Right.
10 years ago to set up shop here in New Orleans.
That's
It's
awesome.
working out really well for her.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I feel like there's a lot of energy on cultivating our culture right
Yes,
now.
yes.
So if we could keep that movement going.
I don't see why you can't.
No, I feel like
There's a buzz.
There's a buzz. There's a
There is,
buzz.
like,
Absolutely. There's
yeah.
a buzz that somebody can grab on
Yeah.
and use.
Yeah. But you have the talent. That's the thing. It
And
all
that's the hardest
starts
part.
And ends with the talent.
Yeah, that's
and
the hardest part.
That is all here.
Yeah, I agree.
That is all here.
I agree.
Yeah.
What do you think your biggest takeaways from the panel was today?
Wow. That there's just so much out there that buzz is not just getting a good PR campaign. Buzz is not just a visual thing. Buzz is not just a festival play. That buzz, a lot of ingredients make up creating that buzz. So the biggest takeaway is just really also not being afraid to try new things.
Right.
To think outside the box, to go to areas that you've never tried before, and develop something. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Right.
And it's fine if it fails. You know, as long as
100%.
you pick yourself back up and brush yourself off and try something else, right? Don't
100%.
give up. So, I mean, that was one of the takeaways. And the other one is just, you know, to be, I mean, we talk about being unique, right? To obviously have the talent, but have, you know, have the goods to back it up, but also have a little bit of savvy and a team around you as well.
Right.
To create, you know, the story, build the story,
it takes
build
a
the
team.
narrative, and that visibility and exposure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It definitely takes
yeah.
a team.
So there are a lot of takeaways. I mean, we had some great panelists, great experts. So there was, you know, there was a lot of takeaways. I'm glad it was filmed because I definitely think people should go back and watch.
And watch it, yeah.
And listen to what we all shared, you know, and advice. And it was very educational, very informative. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
If there's one step that you would consider the first step into building a buzz as a brand, what do you think that first step is for everybody across the board?
Yeah. Because again, I mentioned all the different facets, right,
Right.
that can create the buzz, whether it's a radio story, whether it's getting on tour, whether it's one festival, whether it's a brand partnership. And not everyone can do all that.
Right.
So I think the very first step is starting locally.
Right.
You know, building the buzz from the ground up in your community.
I always say go back to the trunk sale,
Yeah.
you know.
Sell it out the boot.
Yeah, you know.
Park the car,
yeah,
blast the stereo,
know,
have
like-
your merch hanging out, and
yeah,
boom.
Yeah, start with the trunk
Yes.
sale, you know,
Yeah.
and 100 people paying you $10 is going to be more than, you know, 10,000 people paying you a half a penny
Exactly.
on your stream, you
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
So I agree with that
Yeah.
that thought process,
Yeah.
and then you can grow from there.
Grow from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely hear of some artists that, you know, get recognized that, you know, they can't get arrested here locally.
Right.
But yet, you know, they got their shot in Croatia, for example. I mean,
Right.
those things do happen, and you have to go with the lovers. I tell
Absolutely.
everyone, go with the lovers. So if it's happening organically in another country, then go to that other country and
Right.
build the buzz from there.
Absolutely.
And maybe it takes the investment of just packing up your bags and going to that community where things are happening, and at least give it 6 to 12 months. That's my other advice. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, the world is so much in your bedroom now. You can do market testing from anywhere.
You can.
You know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
You
I
know.
mean, you can know just from, you know, a touch of your fingertip on the web
Yep.
that something's taking off in Croatia or Singapore or, you know, Shanghai.
Right.
You don't even have to go to those countries, and you know you've got those followers.
Yeah,
And then you
absolutely.
can just talk to them in real time
Right.
from your bedroom.
Right.
Which we didn't have those. We didn't have that technology back when I started. We didn't have those tools.
No.
It's amazing today. Really amazing.
No, and I feel like it's also it's a gift and a curse, because I feel like going back to the trunk sale is almost a non-thought, because everybody thinks of the industry like this, and when you're trying to please or get to 6 billion people, it's a little bit more of a
Daunting.
process.
Overwhelming.
But if you think about narrowing it down to 10 people
Yeah.
or 100 people, you know, on the street,
I
it
mean-
becomes a lot easier of a thought process.
I mean, I say Rome wasn't built in a day,
Right.
right? For example, you've got to put in your 100,000 hours. Well, they say 10,000 hours,
yeah, they say
but
10,
it's a lot
yeah.
more than 10,000
Oh,
hours.
100%.
Oh, it's not just, yeah,
Yeah.
really. You've got to put in the time.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as an overnight success.
No.
You've got to build and build and build gradually.
Because even when you get that success, you have to have somebody in the background going, "Oh yeah, he's been around forever." You know, like
it's not-
otherwise
nothing-
that foundation crumbles.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
No, I agree. Well, so what do you think is something that New Orleans specifically can do to help build that structure here?
Wow. I mean, maybe create more festival opportunities, like build more, you know, there's quite a few festivals
quite
here.
lots
There
of
are.
festivals
You
here.
know, more conferences. I mean, obviously you don't want to oversaturate, but more opportunities than just once or twice a year. I
More
mean, I know there's
information.
Cutting Edge
Yep.
here. Obviously, NOLA MusiCon is here now, 3rd or 4th year. But just continue to create more of those opportunities
Right.
for, you know, the scene and the artist community, because a lot of the artists say, you know, that there's, even if there is 1 or 2 or 3 things here, that it's still not enough because there's only 30 slots to perform, or there's
Right.
only, you know, programming for 3 days, and then
Right.
not all the artists get selected. So they're like, well, what about me? How can
Right.
I get, you know, discovered, or what, you know, what are the opportunities for me?
Well,
So I think just create as many more opportunities for all the artists as you can, just to be open, you know, inclusive, diverse and inclusive.
Right.
you know, so that there's equal opportunity for everyone.
Yeah, because I feel like even some of the local festivals, like once they get a buzz and a name, they'll sell the festival to somebody outside of the city, and then they'll
Yeah.
stop doing the local talent.
Yeah.
And
that's a problem.
You know, and
That becomes a problem. I
you know,
know. I know. I mean, Jazz Fest got really huge. You
yes.
know, that's a
Thankfully,
big,
they've stuck true to Jazz Fest.
which is great.
You
A
know,
lot of the local community.
when they get pushed to not be true, they just
Yeah.
make another stage.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know?
But even like stations like WWOZ,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
there should be some
Yep.
other outlets here
Absolutely.
on internet radio
Yep.
or pirate radio.
Right.
There should be more blogs coming up. You know, there should be more entertainment sites. I mean, I've heard sad news that Offbeat is folding.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't lose Offbeat.
I know.
And if we do, there's a whole void. There's a big black void. We need to like fill it now.
I agree.
With more,
Something-
media coverage. Otherwise, people are losing out.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. More people cultivating. Like, there's a lots of cooks down here. We need some chefs.
Yeah.
You know.
And the chefs come from the experience of bringing it from New York,
Correct.
Nashville, LA, Atlanta. That's what we
Correct.
talked about. Yeah. But it's coming.
Yeah.
I mean, people are moving here. It's
I
coming.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. I
and
see
it's
the wave.
cheaper. You know, it's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
less. You know, it costs less economically, and you know,
I
there's so
could've-
much attractiveness to come here.
I could have never built what I built here in LA.
No way.
It would have
No way.
not would have only would have cost me so much more, but I always said I would never own it. Somebody else would have always owned it.
Yeah.
The way I did
Yeah.
it here, I own
Yeah.
everything. So it kind of, but it allows you to be that, you know, kind of bigger fish in a small pond,
Yeah, and
which creates market and
Yeah.
space for you.
And that just reminded me, I met Juvenile last
Mm-hmm.
night and had a nice chat with him. And he's putting so much back into the community.
Oh, yeah.
He's got the brewery, he's got the chips, he's got the studios. He's, you know, he always works with the same people. He, you know, whoever he put on back then, he's still using
Yep.
and working with his kids. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
he's really growing it. And it's people like him, it's the successful ones that are here that don't abandon their roots.
Absolutely.
That's really, really important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're close with Juvie. He's actually our tenant.
Oh,
yeah,
no
he
way.
does he does all the stuff at Elation.
Oh, he does?
Yep, all the
Okay.
product shots, all the studio stuff.
Amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's
I love how he keeps it all really local.
Oh, yeah.
He
Yep.
doesn't go to New York to get a manager or a publicist.
Nope.
Everything is like really intact
Yep.
with him in his.
He's
you
got
know,
to trust you to
circles.
be in the circle, you know, and then that's how you stay away. That's how you stay away from
Yeah.
things that the industry brings you that
Yeah.
can take you down.
Yeah, and I'm excited he has new music coming out.
Oh, I
He hasn't
know.
put out a record in a long
Oh,
time.
and I've heard it. It's good. You're gonna
you
like
have?
it. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's Juvie. What I love
Yeah.
about it is he hasn't conformed into being a different artist.
Yeah.
He's manipulated the music around it and the, you know, some of the beats and some of the features
Yeah.
to be modern.
Right.
But he still sounds like Juvie.
Love that.
So like to me, it's the fans are gonna love it.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what he did with the tiny desk and
Oh
you
my
know,
God, yeah.
you know, it's one of the best business moves that I can point to for people to pay attention to. Juvie went from performing by himself, you know, at a club, you know, or with a DJ doing it to just the background beat at, you know, let's say 30 to 40,000 a night, to getting 150,000 with a band.
Wow.
And performing more often, and it's a amazing show.
Yeah.
Like,
Does he have
and
dances too and everything?
oh yeah, they got the whole thing. Boy, that's Trombone Shorty band. So the band is incredible,
Yeah.
and they do a great show. And it brings out the New Orleans in the
Yeah.
music, if that makes sense.
And got to shout out Big Frida. By the
Oh
way.
God, yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, no, we've had a lot of talent.
Yeah.
I feel like we need some of that structure, and it's coming.
And it's coming.
Yeah.
Because like I said, as long as people like Juvie stay here
Right.
and keep it grassroots and, you know, don't abandon where they came out of,
Right.
then it's undeniable, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. What would you say your favorite music venue is here in New Orleans?
oh my goodness. Gassa Gassa is
Okay.
really cool. I like Gassa Gassa. I obviously House of Blues.
Yeah.
Tipitinas. I mean, everybody loves Tipitinas,
Everybody loves
right?
Tips.
On Frenchman Street, there's another, I'm forgetting the name of the venue, but Waterseed did a lot of shows there.
Okay.
I cannot recall the name of it. And then my friend Howie Kaplan runs
Howlin' Wolf. Yep, we've
I've done
had
a few
Howie.
shows
We've had
with
Howie
Howlin' Wolf
on
at Howlin'
Elation.
Wolf. I feel like there's a couple other venues I'm missing. Is the Music Box still around? Do you remember the Music Box?
Yeah, it's still here.
It is.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still doing shows, but I saw a couple shows at the Music Box when I was here a few years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great venue.
Trying to think of what other ones. I mean, there's so many
There's
venues
so many,
here.
yeah.
A lot of venues here. I will say one thing, though. A lot of venues here, and as much as the talent here is exceptional, I hear through the grapevine, and I don't want to, this is not a diss, this is more constructive, but I hear through the grapevine that the production value or the sound is really not the quality that it should be, that, you know, should be, considering the amazing talent that you have here.
So I think that has to do a lot with the infrastructure of
you talk about that.
the bars itself.
Right.
Because I feel like, just like with COVID, you know, you eliminate certain non-essential workers.
Yeah.
And I feel like the sound guy has been eliminated.
Okay.
And the band almost kind of has to handle
Okay.
it themselves.
Okay.
In a lot of
Yeah.
those venues.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it has definitely brought down
Yeah.
some of the, you know, the structure, even though some of those tourist spots on Bourbon
Yeah.
don't have a full-time sound guy.
Oh my goodness.
So like,
that's criminal.
you know,
That has to change.
Yeah,
that has to change, because even touring bands are gonna.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want them to come back and say, "Well, we just played a gig in New Orleans and it sucked."
well, and I think
I mean, not that it sucked for the turnout
No,
was great,
but-
but
no,
the
but
sound, you know,
the-
the sound wasn't
absolutely
great. You know, like,
no,
yeah.
and you even House of Blues doesn't sound
Oh,
great.
see, that to me is like,
Like
yeah,
if you're
that doesn't-
upstairs,
yeah,
it's
yeah, that's a travesty. Like a House of Blues, like there's no excuse for that.
No,
None
agreed.
whatsoever.
I agree.
With a brand that established,
I agree.
you know, with venues across the country or the world even.
But going back
Yeah.
to the infrastructure, we
Yeah.
need people
Yeah.
to care about the
Yeah.
infrastructure.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you think Katrina sort of
Well,
damaged?
we've been
that as
forgotten
well?
about since Katrina. Like that's
And
basically I go because you go back to before Katrina we had Cash Money was still here, even though a lot of them had kind of moved out. They still had their presence here.
Yeah.
No Limit was already in California,
Right.
but they still kind of had a presence here.
Yeah.
But after Katrina, everybody left completely.
Yeah.
And they moved their
Yeah.
homes, their
Yeah.
families.
Well, they were also displaced. I mean, they
Yeah,
had to
yeah,
leave. I
but they
mean,
all had money, so
yeah,
they all
yeah, yeah,
moved
yeah.
and settled elsewhere,
And then they didn't come back.
and nobody came back. And then so the only people that came back were some of the creatives
Yep.
and the baseline independents. But that structure, that money that was made, and the notoriety that we all got left. And
Yeah,
Cash
yeah.
Money got known more from Miami and Atlanta than they did New
Yeah,
Orleans, even
yeah.
though they're from New Orleans. They were spending their money and their time in
Yeah.
Atlanta and
Yeah, that's a problem.
You know,
that's that's a big problem.
yeah, and so that leaves no corporate money coming
Yeah,
in. That
yeah,
leaves no
yeah.
structure, no labels,
But it's going
no
to change.
publishers.
It's going to change. I
So-
mean, you're here to help the change.
and that
right?
was
That's-
a part
yeah.
of the deal. So
yes.
yes.
Well, how can I help to create that change, to make it better? How can I help improve the New Orleans infrastructure? I mean, yes, I live in Atlanta, but what can I do to help?
We got to bring some good notoriety to it. We got
Yeah.
to do something that gets some good press.
Yeah,
We got to bring
yeah.
some buzz.
Yeah, bring
We
some
got to get
buzz.
some buzz.
I'm thinking about it. Well,
So-
I'm back to working. I worked over the last 10 years with Waterseed on and off. You know, I
Right.
brought them to New York. I brought them all over the country, booked them overseas a couple times. I got tremendous buzz for them over the years on various projects. But we haven't officially worked together in about 3 or 4 years, but we have just sealed the deal for me to come on board in a couple days.
Awesome.
So that's my big project, to get back New Orleans with the buzz,
Awesome.
Waterseed, and go from there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we have been doing at Elation. We work on doing creative camps where we bring in people from outside
Yeah.
to work with local people.
That's a great
So,
idea.
like,
Yeah.
we did one with Jazzy Faye and Rodney Jerkins.
Amazing.
And we had them here for a week, and we brought all local songwriters and artists, and they all worked together.
That's great.
So, like, things like that.
So you produced that? That was your
Yeah, that
good
was
for you.
yeah.
Okay.
And we did that last September.
Yeah.
We've done a couple more since, but that was the most substantial one.
Great.
But things like that, which people can directly ask
Yes.
somebody like a Jazzy Faye,
Yeah.
what do I do? You know, or
yeah.
how
can
what's
I
going
help?
on?
Okay,
Where's
yeah.
a pitfall?
Yeah.
You know, what do I have to look out for?
Yeah.
And even having some type of a mentorship, even if it's in like a 30-minute moment, can
Yes.
change the direction of somebody's life.
Mentorships are crucial.
So 100%.
Yeah.
So I feel like being able to have those conversations with the right people,
Yeah.
and you know, I feel like that will create the independent people that can bring up everybody
Yeah.
else.
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
Yeah.
so things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, we just need more people like you who are knowledgeable and wise and sharp
Well, I
and
appreciate
already
that.
doing good things.
Yeah, I failed a lot.
So-
So
But you gotta fail to be
got-
successful
I
in this
failed a lot.
business, right?
That's
I
100%.
failed a lot,
It's the
so-
best lesson in the world.
Yeah,
You know.
100%,
So,
yeah.
well, great. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, this was fun. Thank you.
Absolutely. I enjoyed our time and our discussion, and I'm sure everybody else is going to find it
Yeah.
educational.
Thank you. Big up
Absolutely.
Elation and the Bloom Effect.
The Bloom Effect. There you go.
Yeah.
Please tell everybody where they can find you, your socials.
Yeah,
and
it's on the web, thebloomeffect.com. I'm on Instagram at the Bloom Effect. I'm on Twitter. I'm on all the things, basically. Facebook and also my personal accounts, Fiona Bloom. I'm pretty easy to find. Just
Awesome.
don't stalk me, but
Just
I'm,
don't
I'm
stalk me,
around.
yeah.
I'm around, yeah.
Awesome.
I get around.
Well, as a publicist, you should be able to be found, right?
100%.
Yeah.
I want people to find me.
There you go.
I love to help. You know, I'm a mentor. I've mentored loads and loads of kids and, you know, young industry people over the years. And I've had loads of interns work for me, for my company. And that's what I'm all about, is just basically nurturing and cultivating new talent and the next generation, basically.
Absolutely.
The next generation.
Got to spread
So-
your web, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
great. Well, thanks again for
Yes.
for coming.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys for listening today, and I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time on the Elation Podcast. Peace.